Back to school time. It's the Bennington Show. I'm Ron Bennington. I'll take attendance right now. Is this a Gal Bennington? A Gail Bennington?
Yo.
Stanley Christopher?
Here.
And a Vito fuck in French Canadian? Is that it?
Here.
You know, one of my go-to for that, you know how people would say present?
Yeah.
If someone said present and then it got to be like, is there a Ron Bennington? I would go like this, president. Get a nice chuckle.
Sometimes you can be like, aquí. That's Spanish here.
And then the teacher would be like this, look, motherfucker, I see you coming right now, man. This shit is not going to go on. Don't fucking play Wild at Heart in my goddamn classroom. I think I'd probably last a week as a teacher before they found out that I hit somebody with a desk. I just can't stand tough guy children.
What do you think is the most difficult grade? Like, if you were a teacher, what is the worst age that you would want to teach?
I wouldn't be able to stand being around 8th graders because they think they're the seniors of some dipshit thing.
Yeah.
And I would have to, and then their stupid voices are changing. Fucking acne.
Is there anything worse than like that 7th, 8th grade boy voice where it's like, it's kind of douchey, but then it crackles and it's like.
A lot of fathers make this mistake because they just say, hey, make sure you take out the trash. I will. What did you just fucking say to me? You better fucking take the bass out of that voice, boy. I'll knock your shit out.
Can't help it, I'm changing.
I'm going through some weird changes right now. I thought it over. I'm pretty sure I want to be an anthropologist. Like all their stupid dreams at that age. That's the biggest lie I think they ever said to me in school was you could be whatever you want. What a fucking lie.
Oh.
Of course not.
Yeah, that's the worst. Or this idea of the, if you minor in something, like if you minor in something, you're not going to do that thing. They should just say, don't even bother doing that. But they act like a safety net is going to save you. You got one shot. Yeah. You make a major. Did you pick the wrong major? Is it not something you can make a career out of? You're screwed.
Did you pick the wrong major? The answer is yes. The other thing is, guess what? No one. I mean, I guess if you can write code, the world is looking for you. But most people coming out of school, the world doesn't even want them. They don't tell you that. Look, by the way, there's already 1 million people who do this job that are out of work. They don't fucking tell the kids anything like that.
Not to mention, there's just a ton of, like, historical facts that are always just misconstrued to children.
Like what?
Well, for example, when I was young, I was taught about Rosa Parks.
Yeah.
And Rosa Parks, for some reason, was sold to us like a random choice that a nice old woman made, and that set, you know, no, she was doing it on purpose. This was dissent. You know what I mean? She was a political-minded person.
Can I just say this? Mind blown. I thought, to this second, she was a nice old lady who just is like, no, I just don't want to get up. I just sat down.
Yeah, it wasn't until years later that I found out that, you know, she did it with purpose as a form of protest.
I'm going to show these people. I'm going to get on that bus. I'm going to sit in the wrong seat, and I'm going to let them arrest me.
Exactly.
Like Gandhi. I'm not fucking joking. Until this second, I did not know that was a choice. I just thought it was enough is enough.
Yeah, I thought that they were saying this nice old lady just happened to want to do this, and this became a symbol.
I remember when you find out that the George Washington is, I can't tell a lie, is the same as the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, it's the same.
It's the same fucking thing. I remember there was another one. I don't even know if they still gave you guys this gimmick, that Abraham Lincoln was such a good boy that he walked fucking 5 miles to return a nickel or some shit. And I remember saying, well, he owed the dude money. You better fucking get out there before he comes looking for you. You know? Get the nickel to him.
Me and a friend of mine got in trouble for depicting George Washington in, like, you know how they would be like, we'll teach you the cherry tree story, and then everyone has to draw that or do some project.
Right.
So we depicted him with wooden teeth because for some reason we were obsessed with that. So we made him smiling really big with like grain, like, you know, like wood grain teeth and like little twigs sticking out. Furious at us. But then later I was like, well, this thing that you were so obsessed with us learning wasn't even a true story. Yeah. So who cares? At least the wooden tooth thing was real.
No, it wasn't.
Wait, he didn't really have wooden teeth?
No. He had like whalebone teeth or something like that.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
that's true. This is why Kaepernick takes a knee. He is sick of this shit.
Are you kidding me? He didn't even have wooden teeth?
No.
Why make up that lie? Fucking whalebone's much cooler than fucking wooden teeth.
I know, but a kid isn't going to understand whalebone. He gets wooden immediately.
I would have been happy to draw whalebone.
I don't think you can make wooden teeth. I don't think that's possible.
I just assumed wooden. And then that was the thing that they were yelling. My teacher was yelling at us that they were painted white, but we had made them like brown and wooden.
So what, lady? We're children. It's fucking amazing that we could even sit still.
That was the part of the story that grabbed us. That's what we found so exciting.
All that shit is, I mean, we right away, and here's the problem, like even with the cherry tree, right? When you find out that's not true, you think to yourself, is any of this shit true? And those are the people that eventually say, there was no Holocaust. Okay? There's not enough ovens. They always get into that. Yeah. There's not enough. There's suddenly now, you know, no one wonders how many ovens fucking Wonder Bread owns, but all these fucking weird conspiracy heads seem like they know. A guy, and he was actually in the KKK who did my show before, and he was a guy who said there wasn't a Holocaust and there wasn't 6 million Jews. You know, he was like, maybe there was a couple thousand. We're like, what are you talking about? And he goes, look, you see those guys? You ever see anybody with those tattoos? How come you won't see somebody with 3,500,000? I go, I don't know if they counted them all. You know what I mean? Organized. It might have been just per. Then why are we talking about this? This is where I got with them. But, you know, like, do you guys think it'll ever get to the point where Colin Kaepernick is like Rosa Parks, that him taking a knee? Because already it's come back his way, and there's people going, well, I mean, I'm watching the NFL this week, whatever the HBO show.
Hard Knocks.
No, it's not Hard Knocks. It's the prep show that they do every week, and you're supposed to follow it for betting. It's been around for 30 years. And they took 5 minutes to talk with them between themselves on, you know, I'm glad this issue has come up. Black people and white people, you know? And one of the guys said, look, 75% of this league is black. This is a black fucking league, folks. You know, maybe no one should stand up for the national anthem. I'm like, in a matter of weeks, we went where it's easy to boo Colin Kaepernick, where to now it's like, he's actually right about everything.
Well, did the perspective change largely in your lifetime from the 68 Olympics with the Black Power? Like, was it seen as disrespectful and eventually seen
it was seen as disrespectful for two reasons. Number one, the Black Power pissed people off. But two, they didn't have shoes on, which was supposedly anti-Mexican at the time, because I think Mexico said, we made this deal, everyone has to wear these kind of shoes. So some of the runners didn't have their own shoes. So a lot of the people that were booing that were mad because they took their fucking shoes off. And that never comes up. It's just the Black Power salute. But the Black Power salute, to me, is no worse than any other salute, you know? Right. It's just a salute itself, now that we're adults. I mean, you love saluting when you're a little kid.
You're not allowed to salute, right? You're only allowed to salute if you're in the military. But if I were to
know who broke that?
Who's that?
Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan kept saluting the troops. And they said, well, this is ridiculous. He's not in the military. He can't salute the troops. And then they had to say, well, look, he's a head of the military, so I guess it's okay. But at first, people were very mad that Ronald Reagan would salute
That's really interesting to me because remember there was this problem because Obama had saluted with a coffee in his hand. Remember, people got really upset. But that's interesting that not too long before that, he wouldn't have even been allowed to salute. It wasn't expected for a president to salute.
No.
That was only specific to...
there he is saluting quickly with a coffee.
People were very upset about it.
He was carrying something in his other hand, though. Oh, no, he was fixing his jacket. He probably just wasn't thinking.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, every day, do you have to be just totally conscious of the social thing? This is what is driving... This is actually part of what is helping Donald Trump. You know, you got the law and order president, which, you know, we know what that means. We got the I'm going to kill ISIS. People are like, yeah, he will kill ISIS. But the political correctness, where he is the first politician that I know would even bring up the stupid term. He goes, look, I won't be politically correct. I won't do it. I don't give a shit. You know? I think that's helping him so much because it's irritating to worry if you're doing the correct thing.
It is a very stressful thing.
Well, our friend Jill sent us that thing.
Yeah. So this is colleges, different campuses who are offering courses to train young people, to train incoming freshmen how to not offend other people. And I believe they call it
Microaggressions.
Microaggressions.
So you're being aggressive, but just on a small scale. And this has become part of a way of when the kids are coming to school, even before they get there, here, we want you to take this course or these 3-day things.
Right. So, for example, an example of a microaggression would be saying, hey, you guys, to a group of people that is male and female and question mark.
And the Mysterians. All right, so you can't say guys if there's going to be even one woman there. What would you say to everybody? Because guys... You know what I mean? You mean folks.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Hey.
What's up, group?
Like,
hey, crew.
That's not going to happen.
But here's the thing. Let's suppose somebody come in. Let's suppose Don came in now and he goes, hey, can I see you guys after the show? Would you, the point would be that offends Gail, right?
The idea
that we have a lady here, that lady should be treated very much as a lady, my friend.
Right. A lady or just an equal human. Now, this is one that, as a woman, I do this constantly.
I think everyone does.
Constantly, I say, hey, guys, to a group of men and women, and I have said it to groups of just women. I will say, guys, we need to do this. Guys, what's going on? I constantly use that without ever thinking that term.
Because do we have a female part of guys? We don't say gals.
No. Like some people say, hey, ladies. Some people say ladies. I would say ladies.
But have you ever called a woman a dude? Like dudes?
I do.
I do that too.
And I have never thought that would ever be offensive, right? Like I would say dude to a female friend and have said dude to a female friend. However, when I became very aware of it is when I say girl to a man as a term of endearment that I use with females
like
and gay and gay male friends. If I say it to a straight male friend, they get like, why would you? I'm like, girl, that is not how you do that. Come here. And they're like, why would you say that? And I'm like, oh, because wouldn't you call me dude? It's
That's
just
a microaggression is what you're doing.
Why are you so microaggressive?
Because I am a microaggressive person.
Have you ever done this too, where you say girls and people be like, I'm not a girl, I'm a lady. You know what I mean?
Adult women.
Yeah, we're adult women. Like, okay,
but
fuck you.
I had this happen when I was waitressing. I would say, because I like it when I would see a group of women out together.
Yeah.
So I would start with, hey, ladies, like blah, 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 and got in a situation where one of the ladies did not identify as a lady. I assumed that she was just masculine, but identified as female. She didn't. He identified as male.
I can't.
And then I was like, well, I meant it in a nice way. Like, I actually don't find the term to be that offensive. And if I had come up and said, hey, guys, even though 9 of you identify as female and 1 of you is male, I doubt that the rest of them would go, hey, we're all a group of ladies except for this one trans person.
You know what's really funny, though? Where I come from, lady is almost a microaggression because you don't say lady unless it's like, move, lady. Lady, that's not your chair. You know what I mean? Like, anytime we said lady, it never was a nice thing.
Or if you say, like, m'lady.
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 M'lady will have the duck.
She always will. A true lady always chooses a duck.
You know what's really funny too is like there's only some people who can use the term lover even in a song. Like Jackson Brown can call someone his lover, you know what I mean? But I don't think Ozzy ever could, you know. Joni Mitchell might be able to say lover, but
I think test it out with your lover. Just see how it goes. Tonight when you go home, just walk in and be like, hello, lover, and just see where it goes.
You want to find a term that turns off the person that you're attempting to turn on.
My lover and I.
But here's the thing about this, the microaggression thing. Aren't you stereotyping when you think this is what a group would like to be called? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when you're doing that, you're already acting like if I kept referring to Vito as an Italian American, right? I wouldn't be wrong.
Right.
But I don't need to point that out.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really identify that much because he likes to think he's white.
Right. The way you identify someone could be uncomfortable for them. Another example that's given in this article is sometimes you might stereotype without realizing. So one of the examples they say is, if you don't know this person, don't just go up to an Asian student and ask for help with math. Don't just go up to a black student who you don't know and ask if they play basketball. That's one of the lessons.
Or a tall person. A lot of tall people get their feelings hurt with like when you say like, where did you play ball? It's because we feel like it's a waste. You know what I mean?
I have a very tall friend who hates when people judge him for having not played basketball.
Sure.
And they actually tell him like, what are you doing with your life?
Because we know you could at least get at the very least, I mean, you could stand there and get 6-7 boards a game. You know what I mean? Like you're going to, but you know, because everyone out there who is 5'6" and has any kind of basketball skills just thinks, could you imagine if I was 6'6"?
And it'd be incredible.
Yeah, I'd be the greatest that ever lived.
And the disappointment to find out that person might be interested in the arts.
Adam in Indiana. Adam.
Yeah.
What's up?
Good morning. Hey, I just wanted to respond to your thing about Obama saluting with coffee in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm former military, and I'll be the first to say I've never supported Obama, but walking around base after base, I've watched admirals, generals, other officers walking around for morning coffee, saluting soldiers back. People are just trying to pick on him about something stupid.
Yeah, and you know, it is true that if you want to look at Obama or Clinton or Trump, you got plenty of real things to jump in their shit about, but these little things don't matter. By the way, I'm going to ask you real quick, Adam, why is it that the military seems to be very supportive of Trump? And I don't mean, you know, the military itself. I mean the regular military guys and gals who look like they're going to vote for Trump. Why do you think that is?
I think it's because he wants to support our troops and protect our borders. I mean, the military has been down along the Mexican border trying to prevent the drug cartels from bringing in drugs for years and years. I've sat on the border with my Marines, and nobody else wants to do that, but that's something he's very vocal about.
All right, so it's basically that border issue more than fighting ISIS and all that kind of stuff.
I can't speak. I've been out of the military for 20 years, so I don't know how they feel now about the ISIS issue. But
it always seems like the military is always pro-Republican, no matter who the Republican is. I mean, they were very pro-Bush, and I'm sure military voted against. You know, I'm just talking about regular polling against Obama the last couple of times. I think this is really funny that they're trying to figure out why Roman Catholics are heavily voting against Trump. And they're like, we don't know. I guess he's just not, isn't their idea of a Christian. I'm like, Roman Catholics are fucking Hispanic now. I don't know where everyone's head is on this, but go to a church. And it's going to be, a Catholic church. And it's going to be very, very big with Hispanics. Hey, Bruce, Baton Rouge.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up?
Hey, I was just wanting to come in. I heard you talking about the Black Power deal with the Olympics.
Yeah.
And I had recently just read up on that and saw that little white guy, the track guy, he took hell and high water because he was also protesting. And then, man, that guy caught it really bad when he went back home.
I didn't even know this. I did not realize that there was a white dude involved in that.
Yeah, he actually wore I think it was an anti-war pin for them. So he decided to help the guys out.
Was he American?
He couldn't get a job. He died broke.
Was he American? Do you know? Did I lose you, Bruce?
I'm sorry, hold on. I lost it.
That's okay. I was saying, was the white dude an American?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I take that back. No, I don't think he was. I forgot the story, but he wasn't from here.
I'm going to go in and I'm going to read about this myself. I'm going to send you into the pretty good prize closet without the song today. And just see, let us know something anymore. Make sure you take care of him. Because I did not know that there was a white dude involved in that. I know that he didn't have his hand up, did he?
No, he didn't. I remember seeing the picture, and I assumed that he wasn't involved.
He's just a regular guy.
I just thought he was like, "Ugh, this is awkward."
Well, it's bad enough finishing in third place, but no, it actually looks like he's in second from the height there.
Yeah, I think he's in second. I just kind of thought he was caught up in that moment, much like a George Bush doesn't care about black people kind of thing, where he's like, "Ooh, boy, just stare ahead for this."
So what else are we doing wrong? What's a big thing?
Well, this is one that got brought up by, this is the first example given, is a girl asked in one of these classes if a hip-hop song uses the N-word and it is playing in a car and I'm listening to it, may I sing the full N-word along with the song? In the context of just singing the song.
Right.
And after some discussion, the answer was no. You cannot sing. You cannot sing it even in the context of the song. You probably should not sing it.
Well, let me ask this then. Can I sing along with Aretha, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman? Because I do.
As a woman,
yeah,
I give you permission.
You do, but we don't know if all women do. I mean, it is the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Somebody could say, how dare you, sir, sing along with that.
I mean,
and I know, like, I'm not one of those people who feels like I need to change the song. You know what I mean? Because I don't feel like I am the narrator of a story. I'm singing along with a song.
Right. Now, there's always these things like, do you remember in school if you were reading something like Tom Sawyer, a book that uses the N-word a lot? Both options I always thought were so uncomfortable. I hated people who said N in the context.
Right.
And then he said this, blah, 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 N-word. I'm like, that's so dumb. And then I hated the people who were like very comfortable in quoting it. So I'm like, you know what? I just get to avoid discussing this specific passage. Because I don't know the etiquette here.
What about those of us that just giggled? that
was pretty...
She said, rolled off the tongue pretty easy. She said, that wasn't the first time. You know it.
Where you're like, okay, this is your 7th time saying the word in the point that you're making.
But let's say this. If it's wrong to sing along with a rap song, right? Mm-hmm. Then you'd have to say it was wrong for the original singer. And they don't do that. Now,
this is just a personal, just the way I'm looking at this thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to disagree with this particular professor. I think that if you're singing the song and you awkwardly avoid it, isn't that weirder?
It is weird.
I think it might be weirder. Now,
I think you can sing along if you're in a crowd. I think that's totally okay. You just can't be the only person singing it.
Certainly if you're alone in your car.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Windows up, though.
Right.
Yeah.
See, this is my problem with this whole microaggression thing. I remember a time where there was such a term of a fancy restaurant, which would mean a restaurant you don't want to go to because it would become a big deal about what fork you're using, right? And then I'll say by the late 90s on, they said, look, we have great food. We don't care if you're wearing jeans. Just come in, enjoy the great food. And that exploded. You know what I mean? That's why we have these celebrity chefs today, because it became about eating food and enjoying it and not making sure that you're sitting up and that there's a 75% thing in your napkin. Just like come in, enjoy, and pay $500 at the end of your meal. That's all we ask that you do.
Is your money green?
This is turning society, all of us, into a fancy restaurant where you could constantly make a mistake for things that you're saying, even though you don't mean it that way.
I will say this about educating on microaggressions, that there are probably a lot of people in the world who could do them some good to understand what they do and say that is insensitive. And then on the flip side, maybe there's some education that needs to happen about just like fucking laughing at yourself sometimes, or accepting that not everybody's going to think the same way and how to proceed with life. Yeah. Because I don't think that it is a good lesson to tell people everyone's got to talk this way and think this way, and if they don't, they're out of line. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what we used to think about the Nazis and the communists, the whole idea of thought police.
Is there a happy medium between just generally offensive and or just not thinking of other people outside yourself, right? Like you're like, this is my existence. I can't imagine what it would be like to be a woman or to be black or to be gay. I can't imagine it, so therefore I'm not going to try. Versus hypersensitivity and just general, like, humorlessness.
Right. I mean, what you do, you now help the real rude or prejudiced people by them being able to say, look at this microaggression shit. But we're not worried about microaggressions with you, dude. You're a fucking Nazi. You know? Just don't feel like you're in with the microaggression people.
Right. We'll deal with your macros first.
Right. But this, again, it's not thinking of the other person. If you want to take the time to say, I want to change society, it's going to work better as an example than it will be a lecture. You know what I mean? Like, there was a time that if a woman comes into a room, the men stand up. That was done out of respect. Then it was seen, why are you treating us differently? You don't need to stand up. It suddenly was this thing of what you tried to do to honor me is dishonoring me. And that takes a little while for the people who grew up standing up to get it, because they certainly didn't mean it to dishonor people. But if you act like I'm leaving this place, this fucking idiot just stood up when a woman entered the room, you're not helping. You know what I mean? You're being a bigger dick yourself. It's like we said, it's one thing when Colin Kaepernick, you can disagree with him when he takes the knee. But if you're the person screaming, stand up, you fucker, you're also being disrespectful.
Right.
To the flag, which, by the way, none of us know what the flag really does represent. But what I can point out is it doesn't represent the military or the veterans alone. And I'm tired of hearing people on the news saying that flag represents the military. No, those stars don't stand for 50 fucking platoons. They're 50 states. It stands for the entire United States. Stop acting like it. And that's football fucking that up. You know, that's football acting like now we're going to have the Jets coming over and we're going to bring out these guys and you get to clap for them. And, oh, look, this little boy thinks that he's going to meet somebody, but his dad's in the bear suit. That whole thing, which, by the way, is a show. That isn't real. It's a show that gets paid for. But the people that are even trying to be on the side of the flag are confused about what the flag means. It never was supposed to be the military. This was not supposed to be a military fucking country. A military country was Nazi Germany. right? Where suddenly the soldiers were seen as being above everyone else. That never was what we were doing here, ever. And we have confused ourselves. I think it's very important. And, some of the best people being smart about this have been veterans and military people who said, look, that Kaepernick has a right to take his dumb knee. Fine. Some other people jump in and they're taking knees now too, right? Not a huge amount of people, but some people.
Yeah, I know that Megan Rapinoe, who is a soccer star, and she's she just did that, I believe this weekend on Sunday, and she took a knee during the national anthem afterwards, saying it was of the same, she was doing it as an homage and standing up for the exact same thing that Kaepernick did, and sort of saying, I support you in your choice in doing them.
She was always my favorite soccer star.
I'm obsessed with her. I have the biggest crush on her.
Well, everyone does, guys and girls. That's the thing about her. I'm trying to think of somebody in Vito's world that would be this. I'm going to guess The Rock. I don't know how to explain it to you.
Makes sense to me now.
Okay, good. Good. You and Chris said that you're going to do a little gambling this year.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
Could you both do me a favor?
Yes.
And not, because you're both bad at it?
Please. I ended strongly last year. I got killed during the AFC Championship or whatever, but the Super Bowl I hit. So now I want to roll that into this season.
I hate it.
Don't hate it. Trust me. Just for once. Trust me. I'm going to turn it around, dude. I went on a hot streak from like 6 months ago. I think it's going to fucking come over.
Streak could be over. I think once it is separated by season.
You're wrong, Gail. This thing's going to build.
Can I just tell you one thing? Put all your money by a little gentleman runs by name of Carson Wentz. He is taking the Eagles to the Super Bowl. I don't know what it is. This is how dumb you are when you like a team, but I'm just like this. Perfect choice. Why didn't I see that before?
I have no problems with this.
And then I start to write on my notebook, Carson Wentz to the Super Bowl. And then I wondered if that was a microaggression.
No.
I just feel like you guys are being really microaggressive right now.
I kind of do.
I mean, I appreciate that you're not being macro, but I'm aware that you're being micro.
I don't get it. Well, here's the thing that annoys everybody. And this is why people, I'm going to just say it straight out. This is why people hate lawyers. Bill Cosby's trial date is set. And the lawyer immediately claims racial bias is the reason why Dr. Cosby is being accused of drugging, and I don't know what he did once they were asleep. I don't know if he even banged any of them. I don't know what goes on in his stupid fucking head. But, so that annoys. You know why? It's going to work at least with one person on the jury. You know, I'm going to make the prediction right now. Hung jury. Hung jury.
Like a night of situation.
I don't think it's going to be 6-6. But what people, you know how everyone said, oh, Bill Cosby is America's dad and everyone always loved Bill Cosby. Take that tenfold, because this is going to be Philadelphia. And Philadelphia, he is the favorite son. They have been honoring Bill Cosby since I Spy. Right? Since the 60s. They've been proud of him. I don't know how you find 12 people in Philadelphia and all 12 of them are going to be anti-Bill Cosby.
Now, jury selection is always a very important part of this process. Mm-hmm. What do you think is like the median that the defense is looking for? Like, what is the perfect Cosby sympathizer?
I would say this. I could ask them questions and I would go, juror number 13?
Yes.
Do you find it acceptable to serve your children cake for breakfast? I mean, there's eggs in there. See, he's laughing. I will take juror number 13. He's in.
That is great.
He gives a chocolate cake. And then the children come in. They like their music. Their music to listen to. We let them play the music. My wife says, turn the music down. But I say, go ahead and dance to the music. Is there a punchline? By the way, you were also going to see, because for years everyone said Bill Cosby is not a good actor. You will see how great of an actor he is as he transforms himself into a blind, feeble, elderly gentleman who can't find his way.
Is that you?
Is my daughter here?
These old bones can't make it anymore.
The thing that would make, if this was a TV trial, Cosby would be on the stand defending himself, because you know that superior Bill Cosby could pop out in a minute, you know? Where he would just be like, they knew exactly what they wanted to do. I don't know how you prove this, though. How do you prove that someone took a pill 30 years ago? You know, like, even if you get beyond all that, the pill is gone. No one to this day knows what kind of pills they were or whatever. It's gonna be a tougher case to prove than most people think.
I think part of the evidence is just going to be the prosecutor just playing that Spanish fly bit that he did.
Which makes you scared then. I mean, talk about microaggression. Than any act a comedian has done at any point of his life defines him 30 years later. That's scary as shit. I'll say this, ladies and gentlemen of America, you're only as good as your worst tweet. Can you imagine? Your worst tweet is what people define you by.
By worst, do you mean most microaggressive, or do you mean just unfunny? Because either way, I'm screwed.
Yes, that's right. We all would be screwed. But that's my magic ball. He is not going to see the inside of a jail. Won't happen. No matter how many women come up. Not going to happen.
Some of the jurors are going to have to lie. I mean, they've all heard of Bill Cosby and have heard what's going on.
Well, for your way of saying, then Hillary Clinton could never be in a trial. Trump could never be in a trial. I mean, you have to be able to say, even though I've heard things, I'm coming in here with an open mind. I don't think you could just say people haven't heard of Bill Cosby.
Okay, so that's why I thought, like, even if you've heard of Bill Cosby,
shut-ins that are living off the grid.
That's why I figure most juries are comprised
Have you ever used Polaroid film, eaten Jell-O, or had a Coke? People forget that forget his stand-up. He was like the number one pitch man which means the most trusted. The trust we have in our pitchmen.
When I was young, that was most of what I knew him from. It's just the fact that he was just on television all the time.
Right. Well, that's because I went and permitted our family to watch that stupid show. I thought it was terrible. And I think Bill's stand-up has always been amazing. But I can't think of an acting role where I was like, oh, he's got it. Like, movie. I mean, first of all, they could probably, going by what you're saying, the fact that he started Mother Jugs and Speed, where they just called the woman with big tits Jugs. Hey, Jugs. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Can't remember who was the guy. It was Harvey Keitel, and Raquel Welch was Jugs.
That's microaggressive.
It is. It's macro-aggressive. And yet, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, she did have enormous jugs. The defense rests. Then you just throw the pen. Grab your crotch. Yeah! Have you ever eaten Jell-O? Yes, but I never liked it. I think it's the most hideous of all foods.
Jell-O?
Disgusting.
What about those dishes that as far as I can tell, only existed in the late 50s, early 60s, where the Jell-O was a savory product? Have you seen these? Like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so there's really old recipe books that you can find where it's like Jell-O and it goes alongside of meat, different pâtés, and it was served as a savory product. So it's like celery or lime or something like that, and you would eat it with the meat. and some cream-based thing. Like
What the fuck?
That's like a chicken liver slathered over the top of a Jell-O. Or that's like a hunk of lamb served with mint Jell-O.
This is all news.
Look at this one on the right, Chris, like where it's like meat stuffed inside of there.
So is this just before they realized that it was a dessert? Because I had it with the fruit in school.
Yeah.
They would force fruit into Jell-O.
Yeah,
to
so they were trying to figure it out. So this is an example of them almost doing like a Cobb salad. So they have ham cubes inside of there, some olives, some sliced tomato.
You're a sick fuck if you're eating this.
It's so disturbing. I want to know if anyone actually served it, because there's tons of old recipes that involve this stuff. But did anyone really make that? I mean, look at that. That's actually vile.
A Jell-O salad makes the meal, according to the ad. Yeah, it's just vegetables inside a Jell-O mold.
So I'm wondering, is that Jell-O a non-flavored Jell-O? Like, are you just using gelatin to suspend salad ingredients?
This is stunning to me. We'd have to go back in time to figure out what they were doing. I only knew Jell-O as either a snack or a dessert treat for Mormons and poor people.
We'd have Jell-O in the Stanley household.
Would you?
But I would never. I hate it because I didn't want to wait for it to freeze. So I was basically just eating Jell-O.
First of all, it never froze.
Whatever, solidify.
And second, the fact that you would drink Jell-O makes your addictions almost seem like nothing to me.
He's like, I don't get what's so exciting about Jell-O shots. They're just like regular shots. You need to wait.
I like it. It's like, I love Jell-O. It's like heavy Kool-Aid.
It's just extra syrupy.
Fucking
my whole face was puckering up, even as you said that. I don't know why it seems grosser to drink.
It is, because it is. It's fucking gross to do that.
I've always found it gross to eat, and when a large chunk of Jell-O slides down your throat.
Oh yeah, no chewing Jell-O. You just let it. Like back when Cosby was really into those Jell-O jigglers. Yeah. Like I would go to friends' houses and their mom would serve those, and they just like in little shapes, and they just like slip down your throat like a weird little slug. Cosby was really into those for a while. Really into the Jell-O jigglers.
I didn't know this either. I didn't know what it was.
It's just Jell-O. Like you've cookie cuttered your Jell-O pieces.
You sliced into it. Eric wants to comment on your savory Jell-O. Hey, Eric, what's up, buddy?
Hey, guys, love the show. Yeah, I think you're talking about Aspic.
Aspic?
Aspic, yeah. You're right, it's gelatin. They just
I've heard the term aspic, but I never know what it was.
Yeah, you kind of take it like a broth and then mix it with the gelatin, and then you get an aspic, and they use it to suspend. They use it in charcuterie.
You know what?
Oh, there's egg in that one.
I just
it's cut in half. Oh.
I am going to bring up a movie I try to bring up to you guys all the time. You still won't see it. It's Aspic, Jeffrey. It's like a Jell-O. That's Flamingo Kid again.
Oh, really?
That Robert Kelly name checked, saying that Rich Voss looked like he was Flamingo Kid. So, please watch it before it's too late. Summer's almost over.
So is Aspic just give it a texture, or is that a flavor to it?
It's just the shitty 50s.
Oh, God!
By the way,
that one is chock full of peas, onions, carrots, and some boiled eggs.
This is what when Trump wants to make America great again. This is what he's talking about. Back when we had Aspic.
More preservatives. We need more of them.
That is so upsetting.
Ugh.
This is fucked up, man.
I feel like we should have an Aspic party.
No.
Oh my God, that's lunch meat. That's just rolled up lunch meat in
Who
that.
would be willing to do seafood Aspic if we get a hold of Hard Rock Johnny and see if he can make it up in his industrial kitchen?
How much, like eating contest, like how much you could go before you
spoonful.
just puke.
Spoonful before I puke.
It seems egg is the most popular thing in this fucked up food.
The molds, the creative molds, though, you have to give it that. And like a bundt cake shape. Oh my God, look at that one, has SpaghettiOs in it to the right.
The two worst foods together.
Oh God, and I think those are like little cocktail weenies on the top.
Oh my God.
It's so gross.
Hey, Jeff, Cherry Hill.
Hey guys, so I worked in the deli for a long time, and there was one piece of lunch meat that I could never touch. It was called souse or head cheese, and it's basically a pig's head. They cook it up and throw it
we've
into
all
this-
seen it.
I've
But
seen
I
it.
thought it was floating in fat, not Jello.
Yeah, but it feels like when you're slicing it, it feels like you're cutting like a hard, fatty Jello. I didn't even like touching it. It was gross. It was gross. And a buddy of mine, he would make sandwiches with like souse and sardines and spicy mustard, and he loved it. But
Seems like
couldn't
a cool
even.
dude, though.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. Someone called, but they hung up, and they're saying that Jello used to not be sweetened. So that's why it was savory, that they didn't add sugar at first. I guess they didn't know what they had. They didn't know that they had jigglers ready to go just leap off.
Sweet jigglers.
So, I mean, the fact that there's an unsweetened Jello, this is stunning to me. But this is where Aspic comes from. And you guys would have known that if you would have finally watching Flamingo Kid, the way Robert Kelly has.
Now, of all the standard Jello flavors, have they ever done a chocolate Jello, or is it always fruit flavored?
I don't believe that chocolate would work in Jello. I think you need straight fruit flavors.
And yet they're messing around with salads.
Look, I'll tell you this. I never liked the chocolate water ice. I found it to be disgusting. And more than that, I find people who eat it to be disgusting. And that's not a microaggression, folks. That's straight from the heart. Aggression.
Even in the case of a cream ice, which is...
I'm not crazy about those things.
Really?
I'm a old school fucking Italian water ice person, you know?
What's the go-to flavor? Cherry?
Cherry. But you could do lemon. Oh, yeah. And watermelon is delicious. But look, we got cherry. Let's fucking go with it. What are we waiting for? It was very funny. I was just down in that area over the break and just seeing water ice stores. Like I was driving through Upper Darby and there's just water ice stores. Like that's the only thing they have. And you're like, someone's making a living just selling water ice.
Some ice and some flavor.
Here's our friend Maureen. Maureen, how are you doing, darling?
Okay, I missed you guys while you're gone. I'm happy you're back.
You know what? We had to take a little break for ourselves. You know, get a little Chris Stanley time in. He got a haircut. He looks great.
Thanks.
A little time for the mental health.
Yeah. You know, my fucking funny thing is I planned on a haircut and couldn't seem to find the time. Didn't have that 20 minutes to sit in a chair and listen to Italian music.
Well, I'm a licensed cosmetologist. If I was closer, I'd come right down and trim you while you did the show.
Look, if I could just do that, you know, my life would be great. Just sit here and just kill two birds with one stone.
I would love to get a show, Petty, if that's possible.
Oh, that would be nice. Yeah, sure.
I did not know that you were a licensed. I only go to an unlicensed cosmetologist. They use a hacksaw.
I grew up in Connecticut, and when I got my license, it actually was illegal back then to do pedicures in Connecticut.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, because so many people's feet fall off now because they don't clean the tools.
Yes. Well, I thought of you when I saw that the guy from Miller's Crossing had died during.
Oh yeah, I felt terrible about
it's
it.
One of our favorite scenes with the kid that comes in and the sisters gave me a prize.
Yeah.
And he slaps him.
That's a penny, you know. Oh, what happened? Somebody make you cry?
Yeah.
What's the matter? Kids, huh? You know, he was also in Modern Family. He owned the business Closets. And
Yeah.
I always loved that thing because those two guys, they were partners. There was a betrayal and they hate each other. But they're the only two people in the world that are really interested in closets.
Right.
So it's the only other guy that you could have these conversations with.
Right.
Well, when I called, I just happened to think of when you said you might like to sing "You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman." I recently was looking through some old Rod Stewart songs, and for some reason, I guess, Mercury had some old songs that they put out, and he does a version of "You Make Me," but it's "You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Man." So
That's
I thought maybe when you get that urge, you could sing along.
No,
with Rob.
I find it to be stupid. The song is.
I do too. Well, I cringed as soon as I saw it. I was like, "Oh God, he did that."
I think it would be even better if he said, "I make you feel like a natural woman."
That would be better.
Oh, baby, what I do to you.
That's
the ego on this guy.
Maybe do that.
I normally prefer if you stay with the gender or whatever, even though you're covering it. For example, Jolene, what's his name? White.
Yeah.
Stripes guy.
Oh, Jack White?
Ron White.
Jack White. Oh. Pointing to you. I'm like, he's your boy. And you're just looking at me like...
Ron didn't say it, so I'm not helping.
Yeah, exactly.
Microaggression.
That is a microaggression. But he covered Jolene, but didn't change the pronouns. The only circumstance I know that I liked it was there's a cover, like Sarah Vaughan does My Sweet Embraceable You. Instead of like, come to Papa, she's like, come to Mama, come to Mama.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me as much because... But the thing where you have to go out of your way to change the meaning of the song, it's just stupid.
Right.
If you can't... Like, I've sung along with James Brown. I've claimed that I was black and proud because it would seem insane for me to yell, I'm white and proud, because that's redundant.
And I dare a man to resist saying, man, I feel like a woman. It's fun.
I've sung that song loud and fucking proud. By the way, I told you I was doing some stuff, listening to a lot of Sirius XM, and I closed down Yacht Rock with them.
Oh.
You say goodbye to Yacht Rock. You know why? The All Barbara Streisand channel.
Interesting. That's what it's moved to. Well, I hope you gave Yacht Rock one last salute.
I did. I gave him a coffee-filled salute. Is it wrong to salute with a Coke spoon? Did anyone ever say? All right, darling. Good to talk to you.
You too.
All right, bye-bye. Lori wants to open her eyes to the history of savory gelatin. Hello, Lori.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, good. While you guys were talking about White Stripes, it reminds me of the Joss Stone cover of Fell in Love with a Girl, where she does this great, like, blue-eyed soul that keeps the gender the same, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I have no problem with it.
Disgusting, savory dishes rooted in Victorian times.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, okay, picture, like, Downton Abbey, where there's, like, the manor house and all the animals that they eat, they grow themselves. To get enough gelatin to fill one of those little copper molds meant that you had land, which meant you had animals, which meant you could come up with that much, like, protein out of the joints of the animals. So it's a status thing.
Oh, I see.
And then to make it, I guess, palatable, because it's disgusting, they start adding funny stuff. When it became commercially processed and you could just, sell your steaks and your sausages and, whatever, because everything was being processed more centrally, then they could sell the gelatin, which has been around about 100 years probably, if not longer. And then middle-class people making side dishes out of gelatin.
See,
give us another fact, Lori, so that we can do that thing.
My other fact is I'm really going to be late for work. I got to run, guys. Going to keep listening.
Work, I see.
Back. I hope you guys had a really relaxing time off.
Yes. Well, I said, today. Yeah, thank God it's Wednesday is what I like to say. Thanks, Lori. She's nice.
I love Lori.
Yeah. I heard that her and Larry bring in other people to give them hickeys. Spread the news around. What? Just hickeys. Hickeys only.
Why so specific?
Do me a favor and suck on the neck a little bit. I'd like to check that out. Look at Vito. He just looks like he wants to be involved in the show today. When do you get your new interns, Vito?
I think we're getting them next week.
I'm going to make a prediction now.
Okay.
Sight unseen. They're both going to hate Vito.
Really? Because the last two loved him so.
I know that you're friends with Coach, right?
Yes.
Could you tell her that she has to stop in one day now that she feels better, just to say goodbye because we never got a chance to say goodbye to her.
100%.
100% means it will be so.
I have no doubt in my mind now.
Now, Lori was bringing up the Downtown Abbey, and I never watched that. How far downtown was that show? I mean, all the way? Was it Battery Park?
That's way too downtown.
That's too downtown for me.
There's nothing down
Downton.
there.
Oh, my God.
What is it?
Downton.
Okay, how far downtown is that? Do you go all the way to the Battery, or is it
Yeah, the Battery.
Lower East Side? Do you consider Tribeca downtown?
Yeah, I'll say that's downtown.
See, I think that you have to be in the Wall Street area. I feel like Tribeca is one neighborhood above Mr. Downtown.
I think if you're below 14th, you're downtown.
Whoa, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That includes Nolita, Chinatown.
I was looking up Midtown. I didn't know Midtown went down to 34th Street.
I would consider 34th Street Midtown. I go 34th to 57th.
Me too. That's my same boundaries.
Yeah. I say 57th's the topper. That's the top of Midtown.
Yeah.
I say Times Square is the bottom of Midtown.
How? That's the heart.
Yeah, that's
the heartland.
They say the heart of Midtown is Times Square.
Shit.
Well, if you look, that's still business area. To me, Midtown means you're looking at buildings, a neighborhood not to live in, a neighborhood to work in.
Right.
Or jerk in if you're that type.
Maybe you're both.
I can't wait for this Cosby thing. I hope it's on TV.
Please, God.
It should be. It's the people's crime.
Well, welcome to Court TV. We're going to hear the 100 rapes of Bill Cosby. I mean, he may be the biggest serial rapist in the history of the Republic.
Known. At least known.
The known republic. I mean, there may be some republics we haven't discovered yet. They might be too far downton for us to have come across it. Is that show over?
It is over, yeah.
Mr. Downton. Matt, Maryland, what's up?
Yes, hi. One of the microaggressions that bothers me a little bit is you can't use the word retard anymore. That just, it basically just means delayed. And in any situation, it's just like really badly looked on.
But see, here's the deal. You're the kind of reason that I can't go over and be part of the backlash group, because someone who feels the need to use the word retard, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that I really want to call people retarded.
I have to.
And I can't anymore. It becomes so hard to defend.
Well, that turns into that thing where when white people say, well, if black people can use the N-word, why can't I? I think the first question is like, do you want to use it? Like, what is let's just discuss what it is you want to use it for.
Let's just say this, though. At some point, we've got to take a look at the rappers and athletes who use these words publicly and go, hey, what's wrong with them? That they're still using them. If you're going to say it about any white person, you'd have to say, what is wrong with the rappers and consumer of rap and hip-hop culture? Why is it so important for them?
That is also something that is debated in the black community. There are people, yes, there are lots of people who feel like as a black person, they would rather other black people not use that. And then there are black people who are like, how could you tell me how to, express myself?
But you could say that about a white person who wants to use that, and that should be pointed out to them, that you're not enriching your culture. You're degrading your culture. If you're saying white people are degrading the culture by using that word, it would be true of leaders of the culture, and whether you like it or not, when you have hit records, you're the leader of cultures. Back in my day, it was the Reverend Al Green, and all he did was lead us in the correct direction. So in love with you. Could you sing that more like Adam Sandler? Thanks. Let's try it one more time. I will want me to.
It's what I mean.
That's too good of an Adam Sandler. You should be embarrassed if your Adam Sandler was that big. Oh, this ties in with microaggression. I'm glad I just thought of it. I don't know, because I know everybody was on the road a little bit. If you had a chance to see the Comedy Central roast of Mr. Rob Lowe.
So I was able to watch last night I got back, so I was able to watch the first half of it. So I have seen some of it, yes.
Ann Coulter was kicked and smashed so many times. And from a joking perspective, so many times that people are feeling sorry for her today, including her enemies. And they're saying, why wasn't she attacked for her politics or things that she said? Why would you call her horseface, Mr. Peyton Manning? Why would you call her Skeletor? And the fact that she was attacked on those reasons is because it's a fucking roast.
Right.
And it's just a dummy night.
Well, this is exactly what these things are. If you're sensitive to something like that, I would be sensitive to something like that. I would not like to be roasted.
No, I don't.
It wouldn't make me feel good. So when somebody said, would you like to be part of this roast? Will I be roasted? Yes, you will. No, thank you. I'd rather not hear those things. I would rather not hear those things. But if you're going to take part in something like this, you're going to have a sense of humor. She also happened to be the person who looked so incredibly uncomfortable every time she was talked about.
She kind of made the roast for me. Because she acted the way a person would act. Like Jeff Ross was being called fat and bald, and he's like, it's great. But he doesn't love it.
Right. Even when you do the thing like that hurt my feelings, you ham it up. You're like, what? Well, I don't feel that way at all about myself. But you can't. She looked not only like hurt, she looked scared. Like she had this vacant look behind her eyes. Like somebody had just gone into like an old folks home and found a person with dementia and then rolled them out and then just started like saying really scary, weird things to them. Like she looked confused and scared, and it actually made me feel bad for her. But then I was like, did you look into what a roast was? Why
would you even have a touch to lose, man? I thought... And this is just me and no one else has said it. I thought they were meaner to Ralph Macchio. Where they like, he hadn't saved his money.
Right.
I mean, I think Ralph Macchio probably has more money than anybody that you know.
And you could probably say Ralph Macchio looks like a really nice guy. He looks like a nice dude. Don't you feel bad? If you're going to feel bad for someone, nice guy Ralph Macchio.
Boy, I came in with only one cigar today, and it's actually bugging me. I didn't have my shit together coming. You know what I mean? I was off. I think we were off for 7 weeks. I just didn't feel like myself. I brought one cigar, but I did manage to bring 8 lighters.
Oh my God.
Yes, I have a lot of lighters. Let's not turn this into a roast about it. But it is strange to see, and this might be a prejudice against women, but I felt like, oh, okay, so Jeff Ross, they're saying is fat and bald, but every time she got called horseface or ugly, it did tinge, and that's wrong. That means that I am acting like, hey, she's not as tough as Jeff Ross, and she is tough.
But part of that is the reaction. There were other women there who laughed at jokes, or even when they looked hurt, they kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that about me. I think it had more to do with the fact that she looked very victimized in that moment.
She looked like the smart girl at school being called horseface.
And like her eyes just kind of kept darting back and forth. Like she looked like she didn't know where she was. She looked so overwhelmed by this process.
Did you see her do her stand up?
I haven't got to that yet.
Here's what made it worse. She claims it played better in the room, and she claims that fucking Comedy Central did some creative editing. But you would say she bombed, right? So she's getting up and she's doing like Hillary. No one was there for Hillary. They were there for fucking the Rob Lowe stuff where like, oh, he was caught with a 16-year-old girl. He's a pedophile. I mean, there's no reason to really even laugh at those jokes. And Rob was laughing like crazy.
Yeah, he was really enjoying them.
I fucked her. I fucked his 16-year-old vagina. Like the fact that he was okay with those jokes.
Oh yeah, he was very comfortable with them. But yeah, like Nikki Glazer's reactions to jokes about her was not. You didn't feel like she couldn't handle herself.
Yeah. First of all, she came off great in that. I mean, she and Peyton Manning to me came off as the most comfortable. The problem is like, well, the problem for the show is you can hear the writers. Nikki Glazer felt more original to me. That you're not doing, like, David Spade and Peyton Manning obviously had the same people writing for them.
They're very similar.
And that is annoying for the viewer. You know what I mean? You're not seeing something that's real. You know what I mean? Like, if I watch Big J, I don't want him to read off a bunch of jokes somebody else read. I like the fact that his material is different than even the people that he's on the show with. And you don't get that in those roasts. It's too fucking written.
Yeah, I didn't get to see Nikki Glazer's piece yet, but I saw her work out some of those jokes at the stand. So they seemed like they went over so well in that room. I was like, this has got to be good. So I'm glad to hear that it worked out for her because, I think her jokes are very uniquely her.
All right, here's Craig. Craig in Madison. What's up, buddy?
Hey. Bennington's every day. Hey, welcome back, guys.
Hey, thanks.
You know, I wrote that joke years ago. Why is Ann's last name Coulter?
Oh, so you feel like that was yours?
Yes, I said it on Stern like 3 years ago because she has a horse face. Colt?
Yeah.
Right?
So who ended up doing it?
Everyone stole it.
So you think, yeah. I mean, a lot of people get called horse face. If you have a thinner face, you get called horse face.
I think even Nikki Glazer got called horse face at one point earlier.
Yeah, I mean,
but the joke is her last name is Coulter. Colt.
Yeah, I got it. I don't remember who used that joke though.
Simple, but she does have a horse face. I'd fuck her. She's a millionaire.
All right. Well, I wonder if you'd fuck every millionaire.
Hi, Gail. I love you.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Craig.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
I don't think you got it, though, because it's Colt.
No,
like
I got it.
No, hold on. Wait, Coulter.
Yeah.
Like baby horse, Colt, horse face. Like, just let it sink in.
No, I got it. I'm laughing on the no side. That's his, and he has every right to sue Comedy Central. I don't even remember that joke being done, though.
I didn't see it in the first half.
Yeah.
I will be listening closely in the second half for Colt.
Well, call up. Maybe you can get a couple bucks. Here's our buddy Snowy. What's up, Snowy?
Hey, what's up, Ron? How you doing, y'all?
Hey, man.
Let's not feel too sorry for Ann, okay? She's thrown so many bombs at people over the years, okay? So let's not feel too sorry for her, okay?
Yeah, I guess that's part of the thing that's surprising about her is she kind of comes off like somebody who can dish normally. Yeah. Not even in
But she wasn't in her gang. Like, this would be like if Mike Moore went to like a Fox News roast, he would feel like an outsider because the people on the panel don't like him, the people there. I mean, the fact that she booked it, she went there to sell her book, I guess that's an act of bravery to show up there. I don't say I feel bad for her. I just felt like it was the same joke over and over. And I'm saying the microaggression people definitely feel like, hey, we are better than this, as if Comedy Central is somehow on your side because you seem to be sensitive to stuff. It doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
To someone that acts like that represents us. I did like, I thought Peyton was the funniest one of all because you could see that he actually hates Rob Lowe. You know what I mean? Like, he fucking hates his guts because Rob Lowe used to hang out with the Colts drug addict fucking owner.
Ursay.
Yeah. And sit up there and act like, oh, we got to get a new quarterback. Fucking Peyton's getting old. But they were calling Peyton like fucking, basically retarded and stuff and talking about his giant head. And Peyton looked like he was legitimately laughing and uncomfortably laughing.
Yeah, you've got to walk in there and go, okay, what are people going to make fun of me about? Like most people would think, okay, I'm going to assume this is what people are going to joke about.
You don't know.
But I think that would be the most difficult thing. That if you go into it like, I know people are going to joke about this, and then they'll like bring up like, you're like, I have a weird nose? I don't even know I had a weird nose. Why is everyone bringing that up?
Robert in Alabama.
Yeah, hey, Ron. Yeah, I guess Ann maybe never went back and watched any of those before, but she gets on their dishes with on Race Wars with Kurt and with Sharon does okay, but Jesse Joyce, who is one of the head writers on there, always live tweets unused jokes, ones that were too brutal for the air, or ones that just didn't quite fit. And that was the best thing about it. It's just I didn't even watch the thing. I DVR'd it and just watched Jesse Joyce tweet. If you go back and look at his timeline, it's fantastic.
Now, he does that during the show?
Yeah, he just starts. He said, as in past years, and this is for any roast show, he said, as in past roasts, here's all the stuff that was unused, and he just starts rattling them off for each person as they come up, and they're hysterical. It's the best. It is better than the show.
Now, Jesse...
Some of them are really, I mean, as brutal as some of the ones on there are, there are some that are really, I can make you really question laughing at them, but, you do, so there you go.
That'd be a great article with Jesse. He's a very funny man, and he writes for shows, because he writes for At Midnight, or at least he did, shows that the people are supposed to be off the cuff and funny, and he's the head writer for that. He's a very, very funny dude, man. Very, very funny. Here's Martin. Martin, what's up?
Hey, spoiler alert first.
Spoiler alert.
Love is dead. Natalie and James have broken up.
Now, that they made it so they each got... Whose idea was it? Natalie's?
Well, it seems like the house was shaken up by the wall yeller last night.
I know nothing about these. Are all spoiler alerts.
Tell me about the wall yeller.
And spoiler alert.
Again, spoiler alert. Someone with a megaphone yelled that James and Nicole had a preseason alliance. And most everyone was in the backyard to hear it.
Now, first of all, why would that make him break up with Natalie?
I'm not sure if she broke up with him or...
No, he would never break up with her.
No, she broke up with him, I think.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. She is one of those girls. It's easy for her to say, I love you. You know what I mean?
Right. She likes to cuddle.
Yeah.
And she likes the warmth. But that's probably it. The extent of it. That's probably ends there.
I don't want to microaggression anybody.
Okay.
But I feel like she's been with too many dudes to be satisfied with what James is bringing to the party. And that's a double microaggression.
It is. But you know what? I think if you start a sentence by saying microaggression, much like a spoiler alert, you can say, just so you know, you're going to be offended by this.
Let me share my prejudice with you. I've prejudged these two, much as they are prejudging the fact that there was a before. First of all, you expected all the dopey people who were in it before should have stuck together, and that was the original plan.
Yeah, that was immediately. It was like the old school people and the new people were supposed to be.
And they all just fell apart a week into.
There wasn't 8 old people though.
No, it was a combination of old and new.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I'm saying the old people should have said to themselves, "We're Final Four, even if we get the Meaches of the world." The Coreys of the world to come over here.
Always.
So a really bad fucking season.
Terrible.
Are you guys going to watch the next season?
Yep.
Are you going to podcast it?
I'll podcast the shit
so
out of it.
So you're going to be just podcast it, not the shit out of it.
It's regular podcast.
It's going to be weird because I don't think there's going to be only one weekly episode, and then the rest is just you're on your own with the live feeds.
So your podcast will be more needed than ever.
Yeah.
Your podcast will be the summation episode, so you can do the veto.
It should probably be even a midweek update leading up to it.
There's no reason they can't do it 7 days a week.
Did you guys like Paul's goodbye to the duck? I really like that when they played the gray the picture went gray and they played the dramatic music under it.
It's just dumb show business stuff.
I hated that duck, to be totally honest. I don't know why he wore it. It annoyed me.
He would do anything to get attention.
Because he's a fucking floater.
I don't know why it really bothered me when
I think
Mish took that duck.
Because she is a person who acts like she's a super fan. She has zero respect. The whole "I'm going to blow up your thing on my way out" is no different than "I'm going to stomp on Joe Montana's knee in the fucking Super Bowl." You don't respect the game.
And then she yelled, "I'm Dan Gaesling's my cousin-in-law," or something, like the very end. As she was walking out the door, she's like, "Dan Gaesling's my cousin-in-law." I'm like, what the? Why would you even fucking say that?
First of all, there's not even a thing as a cousin-in-law.
Yeah.
She was
At
crazy.
this point, it's just like you're not related to that person.
Yeah,
you have no connection.
You know what I call cousin-in-laws? My cousins, because it doesn't matter anyway.
I think of them as strangers.
Then she was asked, why'd you say that? Is he really related? She's like, no, but he lives like about 40 miles away from me.
Okay, then she has
So
every
then why
right.
not say he's your uncle or anything? Like, why pick something so...
Because she's a crazy person.
She thought she was fucking with people's brains?
Yeah.
Probably just because they're like, what is a cousin-in-law?
For a super fan, you suck at it. And her saying that the Victor can't win because he's been voted out twice. No, he can win. He's still in it.
He's won his way back in.
Yeah. But whether you respect that or not doesn't mean that you can win under any circumstances there. Doesn't matter. I hate people who act like the best players are the one who won contests. The best players are the ones who have a Machiavellian aspect to the game. Only one person has that this year. Only one, and that's Paul. He's the only person who changes his strategy with the shifting tide of the game each week. To me, that's the game.
And you have to respect somebody who just generally had a personality coming into it that I'm like, okay, that person's going to be a target because people find him annoying and dislike him. Thrown up to go home, set up for elimination the first week, then pawn. It's shocking that he was able to get power about halfway through.
That reminds you of a certain evil doctor, Will. That's the way he played the game. I'll tell you something else. America must hate him. They never gave him any of the fucking prizes, right?
Mm-mm.
He never bitches about it. He never whines or wonders why fucking America doesn't like him. He just doesn't give a shit. He plays his game. I'm sure I wouldn't get along with him in real life, but I think he's played a terrific game.
It shocked me that America did not pick him for any of those because I thought he plays up the thing.
He seems
like,
Middle Eastern. That's why they didn't
Is that
pick
why
him.
they don't like him?
I mean, they gave it to Corey.
That was like...
that says it all.
Unfortunately, we can't use the word retard.
But if we were to, it would be...
I mean him,
not
not someone who has LDs.
No.
Corey himself.
I got the voting for Corey, though, because all of Nicole's fans just voted for Corey, so they'd have the power.
I don't know why Nicole has fans. She's not playing the game.
The fans of the show are weird, where anybody who returns, they immediately are like, I like that. Like Rachel, they hated for the whole time she was on the show, and then when her sister played, they voted her sister every week for MVP.
Why?
Because the show fans are as dumb as the show. Just like wrestling fans, they're the worst thing about it. And Star Wars fans, where they fucking act like Boba Fett is great. And it's just a made-up dumb thing by dummies.
It was on screen for 6 minutes.
I didn't know it was even that long. I'm shocked.
Well, I think Big Brother Over the Top is going to be huge. I mean, I'm going to keep my CBS All Access pass. That's
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Big Brother Over the Top.
OTT.
Why is this making you laugh, Chris?
Just the
That is
creepy
called
way he
Over
said
the
that.
Top.
This is the creepy way Vito said it, though. I don't like that at all.
I'm excited for the design of the house for the Over the Top season. What fun theme are they going to have this year?
It should fucking be a squad.
I'm going to say
It looks like a
digital.
fucking squad.
Lots of computers everywhere.
All right, I just heard from our friend Julian wrote us this long book on gelatin as the savory dish. She says from the 1500s, since gelatin is a meat byproduct of boiled down animal bones, it makes sense that it began as a savory dish.
Well, that's pretty much like, well, Lori was saying. Like, it's it's a status thing because you have enough animal bones to boil.
But this is something else that Jillian wrote. I know a lot about the history of food. It's nice to have that person in our corner then.
Just because you can get gelatin from the bones doesn't mean you should. Yeah, you can make it.
It's the only good kind. The other kind isn't any good. It tastes so much better when you taste the bone.
Oh, like the marrow? Is it the same thing? Yeah, very good.
It's crushed up bone. That's why there's like little chips in it. A lot of big stars around here today, huh?
Big Star Day?
Yeah, Big Star Day. Billy Gibbons was walking around. Jesse, the wrestler with Body Ventura.
Oh, I didn't see him.
Yeah, he was over at Sway Station when we walked in. People were doing a lot of Ann Coulter jokes at him for some reason. Mean.
She's sensitive.
Trump making a big comeback is going to be so interesting.
What's he been up to?
Huh? Just winning while you were away. Just winning. Winning!
Well, just from driving around this great state, once you get out of New York City, you see a lot of Trump signs.
Mm-hmm. That's Trumpville. Where the white people are is Trumpville. I haven't seen one single Clinton sign. I would do it with a backwards K. Clinton.
Oh, that's cool.
I tried to get, like a couple years ago, calling them the Clinton brothers. I think it was 8 years ago when she was running against Obama. I'm like, you better watch out for the Clinton brothers.
Are you being microaggressive when you say that?
I'm always microaggressive when I'm not medium aggressive.
I like my medium rare.
I was microaggressive to Louis J. Gomez after his set when we did the Creeps with Kids. I was just going, wait, I think you think that Puerto Ricans are higher on the food chain than black people or gays. Because he honestly had it in his head that people think fondly of Puerto Ricans when they're anti-black or anti-gay. I think most white people way more comfortable with gay people.
I think so
Puerto
too.
Ricans.
And black people.
Easily. Look, let me tell you, when it comes to coming to America, we sent boats out to get black people. I don't remember anybody sending a boat and saying, get as many Puerto Ricans as you can, bring them back here, they'll do all the work. No.
I think a hypersensitive white person would feel uncomfortable saying, like, oh, I don't feel safe in that neighborhood. It's a black neighborhood. I think they would keep that to themselves. But I think they would very consciously go, ooh, it's all Puerto Rican. I'm very terrified.
Well, first of all, Americans, no matter what kind, we're never comfortable when we hear another fucking language being spoke. We always think it's about us. That's part of us. So if you go to Spanish Harlem, you're like, oh, not a lot of white people here, and I don't know what they're saying.
Right.
Oh, and here's another thing that's different. White people love black music. You're the weirdest dude ever if you're like, I got to put on some Puerto Rican tunes for you. You're going to love this shit. Because they still dance the same way. And grandparents do the same dance as children and teenagers. We don't get that music at all.
No, it's very strange.
Mm-mm. And gay people, no one's ever said, I got to get out of here. I'm in a gay neighborhood. You're like, hey, you'll be on the phone. You're like this. Shit, I ended up in a gay neighborhood. I'm going to pull over and buy a jacket somewhere.
Yeah, meet me here.
People, I don't know why, women, more than men, think that gays know how to dress them. No one ever say, I'll go to another minority, they'll dress me properly.
That's true.
I mean, you're going to leave, if you dressed, in the history of the world, if you dress like a black person, people would be like, yeah, I know what you're doing. I get it. And there's a prejudice to what you're doing dressing that way. It's a microaggression.
If it is a microaggression, though, I do think that you should be micro-offended by it.
Let's small amount of offense.
Yeah, just a little bit like, that didn't make me feel good.
Do you say something if you're micro-offended?
I don't think so. I think
give us some of the terms. I know that there's some, and I know we got to go to break soon, too. But give us some of the terms and see if they offend us.
All right, this is...
Oh, boy, I'm scared having Chris Springs.
This is, what are you? You are so interesting looking.
Can you ever ask what someone's ethnic background is?
I would say you can, but there's something a little weird about saying, what are you? Like, as though you're asking about a breed of a dog. Like, there might be something weird about the phrasing of that. But I think I'm comfortable to say, like, what is your background?
Mm-hmm.
Although, see, I have an Asian friend who tells me it's very uncomfortable when people do that because nobody says that to white people.
Well, here's the problem. We can't look at an Asian and know what country they're coming from or hear their accent and know. And so the last thing, like, people get mad if you're like, hey, my Chinese friend, and was like, she's Japanese. And you're like, oh, I thought for sure she was Chinese.
I am also...
I mean, the odds are in my favor by saying Chinese. There's so many of them.
My friend who's Asian also, when she met another friend of ours, had said to her, what's your name? And she said her name, and she said, oh, what's your real name? And she's like...
That's just offensive.
Yeah, that's my real name. And she's like, no, I mean, when you were born, what name did your family
Your
give
friend
you?
is just stupid. This isn't even a society
She's from a very white area.
I'm not not copping in for her stupidity. I will not share in that.
Also, my friend her family is from South Korea. So when she says that she's Korean to people, they're like, North or South? And she's like, well, I'm here.
Traveling freely, and I've eaten.
So take a guess.
Look, because of the uncomfortable, I can't be friends with that person now. Because there's too much weirdness around. All right, give us some more.
All right. This is talking to a non-white woman. I would have never guessed that you were a scientist.
I wouldn't guess that anybody's a scientist.
Yeah, I get, that just sounds offensive anyway, because then that just sounds like that person seemed dumb to you.
I hate when you act like someone is smart just because they do something, because like a lot of doctors are stupid at a lot of shit other than doctoring.
Yeah. Well, look, anytime somebody tells you what they do for a living, you probably just shouldn't react with, really, whatever it is, whether it's better or worse, whatever, just take it in and try not to react so strongly.
I do remember too, where if you told somebody you were a lawyer, they figured that you had money, and now there are so many lawyers that are broke.
That's
you know?
Weird. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's always an assumption. Like, oh shit, that guy's doing really well.
That's in the old days. Now that there's more lawyers coming in than anything else, you never assume that a lawyer has money. All right, give me another one.
All right, this is of course he'll get tenure, even though he hasn't published much. He's black.
By saying he's black is the problem.
I would go so far as to say not micro.
If you would have just said, of course he'll get tenure, that's what we're talking about, because then you're saying we need so many. But when you point out that the bluntness isn't micro, give us another.
All right. This is just an example. When a non-white faculty member is mistaken for a service worker, I guess on campus or whatever.
I would make fun of that, but I did give, in a bathroom, a guy with a loud suit $2 thinking that he worked there. So it happens.
Well, that's your thing.
Yeah.
You give everyone $2.
Yeah, I do. I'm running $2. That's my thing.
All right. Showing surprise when a feminine woman says she is a lesbian.
Yeah, I've seen this happen many times. Probably. I would just think before you react about how it looks.
But here's the thing. I've done it. I'd never do that because I think I get why people like women or whatever. But I have been surprised when Martin Short would go, well, my wife said, and I would think to myself, huh?
Did you say wife?
Are gays calling their husbands wives now? Is that something new? I mean, the amount of what I consider to be gay guys who have talked about their wife and kids, I've erred on that side.
And then here is my own microaggressive thing is just in my mind. I still don't believe it.
No.
Yeah, there's a secret there.
There's down low.
And there's nothing that can change that perspective in my mind. Someone's like, no, they're really happy together. Nope.
You are a credit to your race. should never be said.
That gets said to me all the time, and I normally answer with thank you.
That's quite a compliment.
Yes. I want to be a credit to anything. I don't even think people say you're a credit to your race since the 1960s. I think that's the last time that's been said.
How about, I think it's more common that someone will say someone else is a credit to their race. Like, they'll say, like, this person was a credit to their race because this. But do people say it in the present tense? Like, you are currently a credit to your race.
See, this, I think, would even be worse. I think if you say, oh, what are you doing? And a woman says, I'm an astronaut. If you start going, oh, man, women are getting it done, right? I would be like, not all women, just me. And very fucking rare to run into any astronaut, male, female, no matter what the race.
Girl power, though, right?
No, me power. I did everything.
Ladies are really doing it.
That is more annoying. So look at you, CEO. We come a long way, baby. Chris, if you get an opportunity, could you get more boxes in this? I want to make sure that there's a fire. There's no possible way I can get.
I'm going to call downstairs, make sure there's more boxes coming up here.
We're 36 floors in the air, and you can't move here.
No. Every hallway's just fucking jam-packed.
Is there any more, or are you done?
There's one more. There's a environmental microaggression. The example is, you're a student walking into the chemistry building, and all of the pictures of the scientists on the wall are white white men. So that's, if you're not a white male, you might feel bad about yourself.
I don't know what he's talking about now. Are you saying as a white male we could have done better?
I think that the chemistry department needs to put more women and minorities.
So this is not something you say, but it's if you're creating an environment where you're trying to make other people comfortable, you're not thinking about the fact that you've only included white males.
Well, who is the woman who just died? She was the anti-women's rights conservative woman, Phyllis something. She died over the weekend. So one of her quotes was just from like a couple months ago. She's not voting for Hillary. And she said, all of our greatest presidents have been men. That was her point. And I'm like, yeah, you're making a point.
Argue with that. Sure.
You got us running late, Chris. You let us go in an hour and a half. Vito, can that be your job now to remind us when to break?
Yeah, I could be that, dude.
And could your other job be to get in here and make sure these shoes of mine are just sparkling? I just want them to shine.
I'll get some shoe shine and get right on that.
And the whole time you're shining, would you go like this?
I'll learn all the lyrics.
It's kind of scat. Look at Chris. He can't wait to hit those two buttons. He's so excited.
Ready. He's going to pounce on them.
You ready to pounce, Pouncy? Pouncy back this year, by the way. So look for the Steelers to win it all. They have a center.
Love Pouncy.
A lot of people are saying good stuff about the Steelers this year.
I know.
Who are you picking right now?
To win the Super Bowl?
No, I meant to finish fourth in each division.
The Arizona Cardinals will win the Super Bowl.
Playing against who? Just by themselves? No one else will show up? That's an interesting bet. Vito, who are you picking?
I'm going to go Pats win versus the Packers.
Well, I'd like to see the Packers come back.
They got to get to the Cardinals first.
Yeah, they got to get through the Cardinals. How about you, Gail?
I'm only allowed to say the X. Otherwise, it will be a
Stand up
jinx.
to that, man. Stand up to that, honor graduate. Let's break. Right back. I think we got somebody coming up on the show.
Miss Kelly Carlin's calling in a little bit.
No, by saying Miss.
Oh,
Micro.
I was corrected by that the other night by Bonnie McFarlane, who said it's not Miss Bonnie McFarlane, it's hit or miss Bonnie McFarlane. Get to know her act. Right back, Bennington. Bennington show. Still doing surf rock, huh?
We're still surfing, I guess.
Well, let's go surfing now. Everybody's learning how. It's back to school time, though. Johnny Manziel is back getting his education. He says he could ends up wanting to get a job with the city. But even when that guy is not playing football, for some reason it makes the paper. Tim Tebow not playing football makes the paper.
Why do you think that is?
Once you get that Kardashian buzz, people become interested in you. You're a Kardashian from that point on. I wish he'd marry one of the Kardashians.
Then that
Rob.
would be perfect.
I wish you'd marry Rob instead of Black Chinese. Oh, Black China, keep on rolling.
What's her favorite song?
It would be my favorite song if I was Black China. So a lot of stuff going on with the elections. If you had to pick a winner today, who do you pick, Chris?
Donald Trump.
Trump.
Ms. Hillary Clinton.
I still think, although the last couple of weeks have been good for Trump, if you go back and look at the states, you're not paying attention. I was watching the new Brian Williams show on 11 last night, and it's called, the name of the show is I Discovered Electricity by Brian Williams. It's a great show. Oh.
Do you think that's true, though?
Yeah, he did. He had sex with Bo Derek, and then he invented electricity. Brian Williams, unbelievable life. What a life this man has had. But he had the Ohio State governor, and the guy was being such a prick towards Trump. Like, I don't know. I don't know if we can help him right now. People say they'll see. And you're watching it, and you're like, that. I mean, if the Republicans are working against you in Ohio, it's unbelievably hard to win. No Republican president has ever gotten in and not won Ohio.
Oh, shit.
And there's the Ohio governor who was responsible for getting boots on the ground, organizing people, working against him. I don't think people pay attention to that kind of thing. Politics is a game. It's like, oh, I love the Patriots. They're going to win. Do you know their whole offensive line is hurt? I don't care. I still think they're going to win.
Yeah.
You're not paying attention to the way the game's played.
And ultimately what matters is, did you go out and buy tickets? Like, is this going to actually turn into something that's, are people going to show up to vote? Like, the media coverage is one thing. Hype is one thing. Everybody's talking about it on social media, but will people actually go to the
It's a very hard thing to do. It's a very difficult game to play. And I've never seen anyone running for president who had his own party working against him. I've been saying for a long time, I don't think the Democrats can hurt him, but the Republicans can hurt him.
And we've said before, this whole thing has been based on fear and disdain. Do you hate this candidate, then you vote for this other candidate.
Yeah, I hate them both.
And does the disdain for Hillary Clinton, is that strong enough to get people to show up, as opposed to how people feel like, such a big heel, there's such a big backlash to him.
They're both heels. This is a heel versus heel match, which is exciting. But I just think, you've got to have Ohio, and they've got that guy working against Trump. And that is a big story that's not being covered. It is being covered on I Invented Electricity, 11 o'clock, Brian Williams. Brian Williams saying he's only running that show to the election. It's just like we do a temp channel.
Right.
It's just
this is his own yacht rock.
Channel. Do we got a problem with that line one, or we all worked out there, Vito? What's happening, buddy? Stay in contact with me. Stay in the game. So, Chris, you're going to go on tomorrow and on your Periscope and explain how people can play fantasy football against you.
100%.
You get it worked out then, and then you explain it to us on the air.
Will do.
I want you to know what you're talking about. Because have you ever played FanDuel before?
No, I have not, but I'm aware of Daily Fantasy, and I know the strategy behind it.
Daily Fantasy is a FanDuel game?
Daily Fantasy is a FanDuel game. Yeah, it's Daily Fantasy as opposed to like how we did was the entire season of fantasy. With Daily Fantasy, you pick a different team every week.
But you pick the whole team, or you pick the whole players?
Team. You pick the whole team, the players. Yeah, you draft your own players.
But you don't pick a team. You make
your own team.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought, okay, all right, get it. Are we playing the other contest with all the comedians?
Yes, we are. Highlander.
Do we have a big prize?
I'm working that out with Don Wicklund.
Did you work it out during that meeting I sat in on?
No, I did not.
Why?
Because he's doing the call. He was doing the call after the meeting.
Okay. Hey, John, California.
Hey there, Ronnie.
Hey,
I was wondering if you saw where the James Bond franchise has offered Daniel Craig $150 million to come do 2 last movies.
My answer would be yes. I will do those. No. Don't even bother sending me the script. I don't care if the first scene is me sucking a dog's dick. I am here.
Well, you're in luck. It is.
Good. Because I'll be like this. 75. So $75 million per picture to do Bond. James Bond.
Wouldn't that make him the highest paid actor to do a movie if he took it?
I think it will certainly be the highest guaranteed. A lot of people have gotten back-end deals like the very famous Tom Cruise. He'll take like $20 million guaranteed. But then on Mission Impossible, I think he was getting 30 or 40% of the gross.
Oh, man.
Which ends up being hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's insanity.
That's the deal I want to get. I want to get the hundreds of millions of dollars to be in it.
Well, was Robert Downey Jr., were they saying for a while he was the highest paid on some of the Avenger?
For Iron Man.
Is that the same thing or no? It's
same
different.
thing. Iron Man. He's the Iron Man in all of them. Keanu Reeves made a bunch of money off the Matrix movies.
Again, he got a portion of the, he got a back end deal. That's where, you got to make that dough.
Yeah. That's how you make that paper. Those coins.
Where's that come from?
My friend Cal.
Okay, so you're doing an impression of someone that we've never met. I'm going to have to give you an A, but I'm going to look into it further to see.
Oh, it's very accurate. I assure you. It's on point, honey. Yes, it is.
Now, do you think that that's a character he portrays, or that's his actual?
That is a heightened version of himself.
Thank you.
Like
Thank
he gives you a little extra.
Right. And I think that's true of stand-up comedians, that when they're on stage,
Right.
it's them, but it's a heightened version of them.
Yeah. So it is him-ish.
Well, this is interesting, and I brought this up to Chris. When we have a meeting, he does a lowered version of himself. You're less you.
Be a heightened version of you. I've noticed a new catchphrase of yours.
What's that?
100%. I've heard you say it twice on the air and once earlier today. And I don't remember you ever saying it before. But I like your new catchphrase that you've picked up on the break, on the off season. 100%.
He's keeping 100? Is that where you're at?
You're 100% Chris Stanley.
I'm 100%.
And I think this is a good catchphrase for you.
Thank you very much.
I think it's very positive. I like it. I'm trying to take someone else's catchphrase.
Yeah, that never caught on either, though.
I like it.
Do you realize that you're saying 100%?
Not at all. I don't even remember saying it.
You said it twice during the show and once during a meeting. 100%.
Well, you say 100% to me when I go, can I trust you on this?
Yes.
And you go, 100%. It's like I said, hey, is 101 going to get filmed? 100%. You guaranteed me.
Yes, I did.
And only 82% of it got done.
Yes.
Well, that's
By the
not
way,
as good of a catchphrase.
I saw a thing that Vito edited together, and I've never even heard of someone saying this when it comes to something comedically. It's so funny that everyone said, can you make it even longer?
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
Vito, you were on fucking, you were on point with that, dude.
Thank you.
What, do you have no one to help you in there today?
Yeah, we don't have anybody from 2 to 3.
Was somebody supposed to show up?
No, today there were no available phone screeners from 2 to 3.
Who are the available phone screeners that we use?
We use Brooke.
Brooke is a frequent flyer.
Yeah, but Brooke ends up in here just talking on the air more than that.
Cisco Dan sometimes helps out.
What's been going on with Dan? Oh, he's still in San Francisco?
He's still in Frisco.
By the way, do you know that people in San Francisco hate the term Frisco?
They hate it.
Yeah.
They get very upset by it.
Sorry,
It makes me use it more.
Yeah. Frisco, huh?
How's the disco in Frisco? Hey, up on the iBang, our friend Andrea wrote a really, really great article about when she went to see Blazing Saddles.
Oh, that's so
Mel.
cool.
Yeah. I had to do something that night. I was going to go, but I don't know if I would have liked people screaming out and yelling and enjoying. Whether I would have. She loved it. She was very happy for the movie. The people were clapping, but she also brings up Mel is the only surviving person. All those stars are gone.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Wait, is Cleveland Little gone? He just types instead of talks.
I don't know.
You're never in a. 100% of the time, you're never in a topic with us.
100%.
You're just trying to type. Be here now. That's my thing.
I'm gonna say he's dead.
Wait, hold on. That doesn't mean say false statements.
I'd rather hear your typing.
Shit.
If we were giving out number grades, right, what would you give Chris Daly right now? 0% being the lowest, 100% being the highest. Vito, I'm going to go to you first. Give him a number grade.
I'm going to go 84.
84%. That's a high C, right? Or low B?
It's a low B.
I'm going to give you 79, and that's nothing to laugh at. That's very good.
I'm going to give him a straight 100%. Chris, what would you give yourself?
Oh, I'd say 100%.
See, anyone who does that.
Nope, now I know. Mine's lower than 79 then.
I mean, it was a trick to see if you were a liar.
God damn it.
Well, Chris, there's an album out now that we're all totally excited about.
I kind of like it when a lot of people die. George Carlin's new album, which comes out Friday, September 16th in stores and online.
We got to hear it over the weekend. I wanted to make sure I listened with the listeners themselves because I had it in my mind I want this to feel like a group experience for me.
Well, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
It's so exciting to get this material after this many years.
It's one of the shocks of a lifetime. And it's always, for me, this is the same way if you found out, oh, there was unheard Jimi Hendrix stuff or there was unheard, like even the Beatles had stuff that they just forgot that they had because they were recording so much. So to hear George Carlin stuff this many years after we lost him, it was just an amazing experience. Kelly Carlin is online with us. Kelly, how are you today?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Well, we were just wondering what it felt like there to know that this stuff is being heard by the public.
That was my dream.
Yeah.
You know, when we found first of all, my dad was so efficient. There's like very little unheard stuff in his collection because he just, whatever he wouldn't use for an HBO show, he'd use for the next one. And so to find even, you know, anything that would never been heard before was so exciting. And of course, you know, it's for the fans, you know, it's like, oh, I can't wait for people to, you know, hear this. And the other thing about this, I mean, not only just the routine itself and the fact that people get to hear it, but the vinyl record, I don't know if you've seen it or not.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
So it opens up like a double album, even though it isn't a double album, and it's got this amazing kind of like montage, amazing thing in the middle with Lewis Black's liner notes. It's a real piece of art in itself, and so we're just so proud of the whole thing. We're very happy.
Well, out of everyone, why did you guys pick Lewis to do the liner notes?
You know, I think Lewis has a similar, you know, kind of frustration and stance with the planet at times.
That's hilarious.
And I know that Lewis and my dad had a nice connection. My dad loved Lewis and his comedy. And before Lewis was even a big thing and before The Daily Show, my dad had seen him, had found him out, had watched a lot of his stuff, and then called him at his house and left him a message telling him how much he loved his comedy. And this changed Lewis's life. I mean, this for him was like the big, you know, validation.
Sure.
And gave him such confidence. And then also, after my dad died, Lewis was one of the comedians who came into my life and really, you know, befriended me and has become a really close friend. And I just thought his sensibility, I thought he would enjoy the material and he would have a good take on it. And he certainly did.
Well, your life has changed so much, like you said, since then, that there's been this, well, you're not only keeping his legacy, George's legacy going, but you've found a way to reflect back with comedy to help it move ahead as well. I brought this up many times, but I thought the stuff that you did with Green Room was just, you know, amazing.
Yeah. Paul Provenza is
genius,
a true visionary, you know, and to get to work with him on that show and to bring his vision to fruition and to be able to bring comics together in that kind of a conversation, which, no matter how many new little comedy shows, interview shows, and things like that pop up on different networks and stuff, there's nothing like what we did with the Green Room. And I really wish someone would pick it up again because it's such a gem. And it was really, those couple of years I worked on it with Paul, it was really an incredible time for me because I had lost my father and I was feeling a lot of grief and a big void. And for Paul to come into my life and to just drop me into the soup of all of those comedians and all of those great minds, it was really healing for me and a joy to know that I was part of the family.
Well, you know what was great about that show, and people forget this, that there was a chance, there was parts of the show for it to not work. And what they do, they try to polish comedy so hard on TV that everything is just this, it all seems like it's the same writer, it's just the laugh is there. But when something is organic and it could fall back and forth and get serious for a moment or, get offensive for a moment and then go back to hilarious. I mean, that I thought was the thing about the show that worked so well.
Yeah, I agree. And that is, it's kind of a manifestation of his soul and his personality because he's all those things. He's got a big heart. He's kind. He's got a lot of space for people to kind of go deep into themselves. And then, of course, he's like one of the most outrageous, raunchiest comics I know, right? And loves pushing the edge, and is not afraid of silence and is not afraid of an awkward moment, and also is a brilliant comedian. So, and it was such a pleasure to know that Showtime had given us that chance to play in that realm, because you're right, everything is so canned and so perfected, and it was just a big raw space to play in. And some comedians were a little kind of intimidated by it because it was so wide open and they weren't sure what was going to happen, but they would walk off the set afterwards and they would just go, "Wow, man, that was probably the most exciting, fantastic things I've ever done."
Yeah, because they could be themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Completely themselves.
One of the things that I would love about the show is you watch it and somebody would be talking too much when they're sitting next to a genius. And that would always crack me up. I thought that was just unbelievable. Having this stuff out now with George, though, does it make you feel even more connected to know that it's getting out to the public?
Yeah, it does, and it feels good too because it's been 8 years since Dad died, and I think there's been a lot of clamoring and a lot of pushing on us to do things, hey, you need to do a biopic, hey, you need to do a documentary, hey, where's the new material, all this kind of stuff, and Jerry Hams and I really took our time and knew that whatever we did, we wanted to do it top notch, and we wanted to do something that we knew Dad would be proud of, and I know he'd be proud of this work. I know he was when he wrote the work and did the material, and the fact that we could honor his true intention with the title, which was the original title for the HBO show, and to dig out this material and to revisit the whole Uncle Dave bit, which is like just one of my favorite bits ever, and where I felt like my dad actually got like into transcendental, Zen philosophy on some level. Yeah. Even though it's dark to start with, it's really beautiful at the end. So, and I imagine, I know there's no afterlife or anything like that, but if you're going to imagine anywhere, my dad being, I imagine him sitting around with all those Uncle Daves, winning the lottery every day.
But it is strange that no matter what your belief is, does feel like an afterlife just connecting with new material. I mean, it's a rare thing for anyone's work to be remembered after their lifetime.
Yeah, it is, and of course I always think about the complete opposite situation with someone like Frank Zappa, they did 30 posthumous albums after he died or something. I mean, the man had clearly reams and reams of material sitting on shelves, but not the case with my dad. And, people were always asking me about it, and I'd say, yeah, I mean, I've got written material, but, what am I going to do? Sit down and finish my dad's thought with his written material, his written notes? I mean, that would be horrible and awkward. Yeah. And, the thing is, as you talk to comics all the time, you talk to fans. People, especially this year, are asking the big question, like, well, what would George think about Trump? And what would George think about this? And of course, I can't answer that, but at least we can put out some material that, and as with Dad always, feels timeless. So, they get a little shot in the arm of some George this year.
Well, you were so kind to hook us up with Jerry and Rocco and Logan, but I honestly think I want to spend the rest of my career talking with Patrick Carlin as many times as I possibly can.
Right.
What a funny but just joyful man.
Yes, absolutely incredible man. And my dad and he talked, I think, almost every day. And Patrick was the one who kind of would feed him. Patrick would go off on a thing, and Patrick didn't have the ambition and the wherewithal to sit down and write material and do all that kind of stuff. My dad did. And, the concept of the big electron came from Patrick. That was his idea. That's what he calls the universe, the big electron.
That's amazing.
And he would have, talks about all these kind of things. I mean, Patrick is a national treasure. He should have his own hour a day where he can just shoot the shit with the world.
Right. Well, he's in Woodstock, right?
He is. He's up in Woodstock, yeah.
I got to get him down here and just introduce him around the comedy department because, if he can't do it every day, we should try to figure out when he can do something.
Yeah, and he lives 300 feet from the local radio station up there, so he has access to a studio if it was need be. But and Ron, I want to thank you because you guys did an incredibly beautiful job with the documentary and talking to everybody, and you always do. Such a classy job with the work you do. So I wanted to thank you for all of the time and effort that you and your staff and everyone put into this project because it's very touching to me how well you've all honored him.
Well, I tell you, it was, first of all, it was being a lifelong fan of George's, but realizing how little, like your book was the first thing that ever made me realize like how little I really knew the real person. But here, after talking with, Rocco and Jerry, of course, is how little I know about even that process. That process was way more complex than I had ever imagined.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And, and Jerry's got stories for days. I mean, he spent 30 years in the car with him. And Jerry's another one who would have, extremely sick, wicked thoughts. And he and Dad would laugh at them. And then Dad would take a seed of it and just go run with it into some direction. And, 6 months later, he'd have 10 minutes on, one joke they made, earlier driving from St. Louis to somewhere else, So, yeah, Jerry's another one who's just got an amazing treasure trove of stories.
And the way that he let George Carlin be George Carlin and then helped him work that to the perfect thing. When he was explaining that George made OCD work for him, it was all just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, it really, Dad is someone who, when you think of great artists and how, their personalities and their minds aren't normal. They can't be.
Right.
And I think the great artists really do learn how to turn their eccentricities into the power of who they are. And Dad did that. Dad understood, his process in such a way and honed it over the years so that he was just a little bit of a machine. I mean, when I've got on a disc saved his computer files, and when I go in there and look at how he organized things and how he updated, and he had these codes for what he was working on or what was left over or what had been integrated into this. And I mean, he was so organized. He could have been a librarian. I mean, that's the kind of
Isn't that the funniest thing ever?
Yeah. It's so It's so amazing. And then, he has these, this whimsical leaps of creativity and these deep, deep thoughts. And he could just channel it into this beautiful process that he created, and which really did give him the freedom to do and write and perform, so prolifically.
And there's something at the end of it, man. I just feel like he did it all for his own pleasure. You know what I mean? Like the work itself was for his pleasure.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think that, but I think it's true.
And I think you're right, Ron. When I look at it all and I hear the interviews, and even if I read some of the stuff that he's talked about, he did do it for his own pleasure. And for someone like me who is so codependent, it's like
Sure.
he's like a hero in that way, because it's like, to remember that ultimately you do have to please yourself at the end, that when you're on that deathbed, you got to know that, okay, I fulfilled something within me, and I brought myself great joy. And the great thing was, the more he pleased himself, the more he pleased his fans. He was lucky. It wasn't a narcissistic act. I mean, it was on some level, as all artists are, but it really gave back in a huge way. And wow, isn't that the perfect scenario?
It's mind-blowing. It's also mind-blowing that you guys have put this out. And I was, when Logan told us his story about how you just said, hey, would you like to be the guy? That he was just a matter of right place, right time. That was just so cool to me.
Yeah. And it really was. It's that kind of thing where, I trust Logan so deeply, and he's just got such a beautiful way about him, and a perfectionism, but also such a respect for art and the medium, and was a fan of my dad's, and he and I'd become close with my podcast, and I thought, what am I going to do? Hand this over to some stranger? And I couldn't do it, Ron. I love my dad, but my God, I would have killed myself at the end of this, listening to his voice all day and his material. I mean, here I am trying to find my own feet on the earth. So it was such a beautiful thing that it came together that way. And that's the way life is, that's the way as it should be, is that it just kind of is this beautiful organic unfolding, and I'm just, it was such a win-win for all of us. It's just a great process.
George's new album, I Kind of Like It When a Lot of People Die, comes out Friday, September 16th in stores and online. And Chris, we've got a way we're giving out some prize packs.
Yeah, we are, of George Carlin prize packs with the new album, I Kind of Like It When a Lot of People Die, a George Carlin t-shirt, and his book, Napalm and Silly Putty.
Beautiful.
So we'll be giving that out. We'll give out a set right now. Kelly, thank you so much that you do too. You're just fantastic.
Thank you so much, and I'm going to make sure you get a vinyl record there in your hands.
I would love it.
So you can enjoy the artwork.
I appreciate it so much.
Okay, sweetie. Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Love Kelly Carlin.
She's so great. I love so much hearing her talk about his unique process. The idea that somebody could have a mind to be organized in that manner and then just be wildly creative. It's so rare to have both of those muscles that you're able to use.
Well, the thing is, when we talk about, kids all the time, and there's always a thing now where we talk about people being on the spectrum, right? Oh, this person, he can't really have a regular life, or she can't have a regular life because she's into this or that. But the idea that obviously George was on some level of the spectrum, he just was a different, strange kind of thinker, right? But finding a way to make that work.
Yeah, rather than
mash it out.
Yeah, take some advice to say, here's what you do differently, and here's how to overcome that as an obstacle. Use it like a superpower, and then figure out how to use that to make you more successful, more money, happier, creative, whatever that thing is that you're looking for.
But that's the thing, too, is like when you say, oh, like he had a superpower. So everybody has something that they do differently than other people. But for some reason, when they're kids, we try to. The last thing we want them to do is to be not normal, not ordinary, but you're also squashing out a chance to be extraordinary, you know? George had a very strange way of thinking of, when she's saying he could have been a librarian, because to me, my whole life, George was a guy standing on a street corner. He just stood on a street corner and talked. Maybe because I was the guy standing on the street corner. But I thought, even when I was a kid, oh, I would get along terrific with this guy. Because the shit that he says, you know what I mean? I get. It's such a personal relationship when you feel that way about somebody. So to hear that, oh no, he was sitting and he was cataloging and cross-cataloging, blah, blah, blah. Somebody could have said to him, dude, that's not what an entertainer does. You can hire someone to do that for you. But he needed to be the person who done it. And his system may not have worked on another comedian in history, but he made it work for him. And then with Jerry being his manager, it was like, hey, George, if that's what you dig, let's get you doing it. If you need to be writing all the time, write all the time. You know, let's go back and look. You know, you got that thought. What are you thinking? You're just bouncing off. It's just extraordinary to me. I would love, first of all, we got to get Patrick Carlin down here, but I could talk to Rocco or Jerry anytime because those are the guys who knew him at all. All right, see that, just take line 4. They'll be the winner. And then we'll do this throughout the rest of the week this week until we're there, right?
Yeah.
What are the prize packs again?
It's the George Carlin prize pack. You win a copy of the new George Carlin album. I kind of like it when a lot of people die. 1 George Carlin t-shirt and a copy of George Carlin's book, Napalm and Silly Putty. No purchase necessary to win.
That's fantastic. So, line 4, and the person's name is what? Dave? All right.
Dave.
So Dave will win. Thank you to everybody else, but we're going to do this over the next couple of days. But also that George Carlin, A Life in Comedy, is available on demand, produced by our good friend Chris Stanley, who put a lot of your own strangeness into it. We went over it a couple of times. Like, I am terrible at putting together a puzzle, but it is like putting together a puzzle. Kelly hooked us up with all these people. Then we had other comedians, but we wanted to make sure that we did it right. It can be so much fun. I just found out who the next doc we're going to be on is. I'm not going to tell anybody, but I think anybody who listens to this station is going to be thrilled with this one. This was another person. As soon as I said, "Oh, tell me who their best friends that they hung out with all the time," because I think I know 2 names right off the bat. I guarantee you this is 2 people that we're going to do the best use. I said, no. He really didn't hang out with comics. And
Really?
that's always strange to me.
I would have assumed that he would have been that type, but maybe that's just he has a personality that you would think he would have been a hangout kind of guy.
He had you would think he would be a hangout kind of guy, but he also has a personality that everybody wanted to be around that dude.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, these things are fun to do. This is the 3rd one that we've done. We've done Bill Hicks. We've done Sam Kinison. We've done George Carlin. And the next name belongs in that thing, which is crazy to say. But I will. And I think everybody would agree that the name belongs there. But it's starting to be nuts, the list of giants that we're talking about here. So if you want to listen, a George Carlin, A Life in Comedy is available. Chris, how did you feel when Kelly said something positive about it?
Very, very good. Felt good about myself and for us.
Could you imagine if she would have said, I listened to that, I'm just going to say piece of garbage.
Production value wasn't there. I mean, the content, sure.
Ella was walked out.
Was he just riding the board the whole time?
Come on, Kelly.
It was great, and it came out incredible. It's excellent. Everyone should check it out on demand.
Pass that phone back over to me.
Mine or yours?
Well, I'm going to go through mine because I don't want to see anything that's in your phone.
Good. Some of those pictures are private.
Oh. Flathead wants to know if he can get in Highlander this year. Flathead, you have to go and do a set first. Well, we should get all of Flat's buddies involved. The Pitbull, Schubert. Man, Schubert's got a great fucking special.
I want to see that.
Yeah, well, it's got to be sold to the correct people. I've seen it because I'm what I call an insider to everyone's career, no matter who they are. I'm a music insider, a radio insider, I'm a film insider.
You must feel great.
Yeah. I'm even an outside insider. I'm on the inside of the outside.
How do you pull it off?
Yeah. I'm Out with the In Crowd is a new album that I'm putting out. I feel like I'm a Fox News insider now. It looks like with them getting rid of so many people, I'm probably going to get a job over there. I'll be as right-wing as they possibly will get. They're talking about really liberaling it up.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
The Murdoch family is not interested in the way the world is looking at Fox News. But there's a lot of talk that some of the big stars will be leaving.
Did Greta Van Susteren say she's leaving?
She didn't say she was leaving. They told her she was leaving. That's 14 years. And 14 years of having big ratings wherever they put her. She's out.
Where could she go?
There's the thing. Is there going to be a new Trump channel? Is there going to be a new Roger Ailes channel? I'm talking about heaven, hell, God, the devil. You know? Putting it all together.
What's that channel?
Oh, it's going to be good. But the weirdest thing is I've done shows for, back before Gail was born. But there's something better about just having a one and done project like we did. There, you know what I mean? Like you could really throw yourself into it. But even if you're doing this job, you could go, well, we had a good job. We had a good show today.
What if tomorrow's bad?
And it probably will be. Tomorrow will probably suck.
And what, are we going to just keep on having good shows? How?
Doing this, it's true. It's like if you said to a director, could you have a movie that never ends and just keeps going on, but make it as great as you can?
Not as good as yesterday. 2 weeks ago, great.
You used to be so good before today. I think the same is, the same is true for life. Like if someone said to you when you were a baby, here's the maintenance that you're going to have to do forever. Physical, financial, social. Any kid would go like this. How do I get crib death? How do I get out of this? When I was little and it was actually George had talked about this, about babies dying in limbo. Back then when I was first born, we had limbo. They got rid of it. And then George did this whole fucking thing it was I hope all those people got promoted. Hope they didn't just cut them loose into space, all those babies. And then he started going like this, when it was like, welcome to limbo. And like when I was a kid, just being raised Catholic, that shit just made me roll on the floor. But I remember thinking, you'd be better off, being born, dying as a baby, and getting promoted to eternal life,
right? Than
you would being on this planet and having a very good chance of fucking up.
Yeah, then at least you're just getting eternal, just like, it's okay. Like, there's nothing bad or good about this place. Right. It just is.
But, yes, limbo should be Earth. But, Springsteen has a new book out, and I was reading some of it, and he suffers from depression. And I go, I have too, listening to some of those songs. It was just so sad. You know what I mean? Like, obviously you suffer from depression. You've been singing about Jersey for 40 years. And, he hasn't done anything for some of those towns that he's tried so hard. Asbury Park still is pretty fucking shady. But, him saying, like, when he's on stage and he's in the pocket, he says he feels like a god, like he wants to live forever. And then as you come off stage, life comes just draining back on you. And I always feel like there's a receipt to pay.
Absolutely.
When you have any kind of euphoria in your life.
I feel that way after just having a lot of laughter in one day or in one sitting, that I tend to get a slight depression afterwards. It's just a slight sadness. Like, what is it? And I'm like, oh, I've just like used up these endorphins and all those kind of happy chemicals flowing through your body.
Yeah, like you only get so many. But luckily you work on a show where that, doesn't happen very often. If it does, it's a mistake. Don't you love Kelly Carlin?
I do love Kelly Carlin.
You feel like she would be a good mom for you that you never had?
I feel well, I did have a mom.
I mean,
but I feel like Kelly Carlin is like a bit of a kindred spirit, I feel, with her. So, yeah, I get it.
Oh, yeah, because when I die, you're going to have to rearrange my sock drawer. That's what I'm going to be leaving around. He had more socks.
Did Dad leave any notes?
Why did he have... He never threw out any socks. Oh.
I mean, I'm exhausted by this sock drawer.
I'm trying to go through his porn. Was he saving this? I mean, this is on VHS. Is there any reason that he kept this? It wasn't coming back.
I mean, I guess we could put this out as unreleased material. I don't know if it's going to be of interest to anyone. And a lot of this porn is dated.
Very dated.
I mean,
that bush is jerry curled. That is not going to fly today. People aren't into vintage porn. Nobody wants to see porn from the silent movie age.
There is a website for that, though.
Silent movie porn?
Yeah, it's all vintage pornography. And just so you know, nothing's new.
Yeah, it's all been around forever.
Don't think that you've come up with something interesting. You haven't.
Well, I wouldn't sign up for anything. Vito, you just said that something was hacked, one of the big websites.
Yeah, so Brazzers, which is like kind of like the high quality, they put a lot into their sets and stuff. They're almost 800,000 emails and passwords were compromised.
So 800,000 people have paid them?
And that's not even all of their users. That's only some of their users.
Wow, they're doing very well for them.
Yeah. What's it cost?
I think Brazzers, they put deals out all the time.
Can I ask a stupid question? What does Brazzers even mean?
I'm not sure. I
don't think it's a stupid question.
I didn't want to find out it was some, sex term that I didn't know about.
When a man and woman love each other, he kisses her Brazzers. Or sucks on her Brazzers.
Brazzers is $30 for the month. Get extra.
Wow. So 800,000 people, $30 a month. That's like $1.5 million a month.
Do they have some sort of temporary?
Not one of you dumb math heads would correct me. I was like off by $1 billion, but you're all just like, yeah, that is a lot of money.
I think they have yearly. Like I think they have that thing where if you sign up for a year, it's cheaper than that though. They want you to get you locked in for that 1 year commitment.
What's the 1 year?
All right, it's $60 for the year.
Oh my God, that's quite a deal.
Yeah, it is.
That's a deal.
3
Do
months.
it.
When you put it like that.
No.
Is there a family pack?
Savings on to you.
Is there a family pack? I want to get it for everybody I know.
This is a set it and forget it kind of situation.
Well, you have access to 7,000 exclusive videos.
7,000 doesn't sound like a lot.
Like I said, high quality scenes. They put a lot of their script work.
1080p.
What?
That's high def.
Oh.
And it's a back to school sale. You gotta go for it.
What, you mean for kids?
Well, this is just women dressed as children.
As long as they're women.
It's so uncomfortable. Oh, these women are dressed as children. Like, not even the term schoolgirl. They're dressed as children. So that's a fetish that people have. They're childlike.
Playing jolly games.
What a creep.
Yeah, sign up for the year. Oh, except for don't sign up because you're going to have
that
fun.
sounds good.
I think it's also $8 for 3 days or something like that. If you just want to
I think a lot of the members, they sign up for the 3-day pass and they just forget to sign off. And then they just keep getting charged. I think that happens a lot to people.
But you're getting the 3-day rate, or are they going to upgrade
you? Get the 3-day rate, and then they hit you for the full month.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
You're talking more about their sales than you do the people that actually advertise with us. That's what I hate about you. Here, you're real.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about anything that people advertise, you turn it into this guy. Like, go back and just listen to when I asked you to grow up with Kelly and just see who you can guess who the strange man who came whipping into it.
That's right, Ron.
Kind of like a lot of people die. It comes out September 16th.
No. You are way more your version of professional than that. That thing of you, if you were just talking like yourself, would be the guy that we want to talk with, not where you turn into funny announcer guy. But it's always been a thing that I laugh in radio or television when people say that's right. And they do it all the time when they throw it to someone on the street. We've got, Bob Johnson out at the county fair. That's right, Angela. I am. You were right, that statement that you made. I can't say about any of the rest of them, but the last statement, the one that I heard, is correct.
Well, that's because there ends up being this idea of the standard response or the standard way of communicating. I was even noticing that with the roast, where Ron Bennington's here. And then that's the setup for every joke. And it's like, we would never say that they've been here the whole time.
Right.
So why not just try to do it? Like, do you have to do it this exact way? And everyone go through 8 different names. Chris Stanley's here.
Oh. And that's because they've all been done before the people were there.
Right.
It's so fucking rehearsed. But yeah, you would go like this. Look at fucking Stanley sitting there like an idiot. You know what I mean? And wouldn't that be better? Just to seem like you're an original person.
We need to break one more time.
But I have an answer to a question. Ray in Georgia. Ray, what is brazzers? Yeah.
I looked it up. It's Irish slang for a prostitute.
Guess what, my friend? Pretty good prize closet.
É prêmio muito bom.
Boy,
É prêmio muito bom.
I can't stand it anymore.
Now it's just sad. I think we have to go back to the non-coach version. It's just sad.
She's gone. Sad. She's gone. And she had 30 yards of intestine taken out of her belly, too.
Dear
That's how sad she
God.
was. Chris has got all his fingers on the buttons.
Oh, it's ready to pounce. That's right, Ron.
Chris, what's coming up next when we get back from the break?
End of the show.
Well, what are we going to talk about before the end of the show? Like, from what you said, I wouldn't stick around.
Oh. There's an anti-Zika toxin thing that's really freaking me out.
Let's do something real. Let's do something we're going to like.
There's Broncos news.
Is this show done in Denver?
No, it's not, but I mean, they did win the Super Bowl.
Did it win the Super Bowl?
They did win the Super Bowl.
Did it win the Super Bowl? This is Frank Did It. Super Bowl winner. Take Brazzers down, would you? We have a glass fucking booth we work
No
in.
more Brazzers.
Right back with more Brazzers. It's Bennington. It's the Bennington Show. Thursday night, foosball is back. And that means I cannot be bothered on the weekends. Gail, lose my number.
What?
I don't care if it's your birthday, your brother's birthday, or your mom's birthday. I'll pick that up in February, and I'll make it good again. I wanted to do a thing this year when it starts to be autumn that we, take a 3-day weekend and we all go up and get a place upstate, do food, but Sunday still has to be focused on football, that we could all watch football together.
That sounds great.
Yeah. And Chris?
Yes, Ron.
I don't know whether you realize this, but I consider you family.
Oh.
And I would love if you watched Birdie that weekend.
I thought I'd be able to come up with you guys, watch some football.
No.
No.
No, I'll be there.
Okay.
So I see you at work. I'm your work family.
Okay. That's still family?
Did you do anything over the break?
Not a thing. I slept. Tried to sleep as much as possible.
Well, how's that different than you at work? See what I did, Vito? I know you hate him, so I give him little shots.
Do you, Vito? You hate me. I was looking at lines because,
Lions? Oh, you went to the zoo?
Oh,
Great.
Fun.
Betting lines.
Oh, betting lion.
The Broncos are +3 at home against the Panthers. plus 3 at home. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, it does make sense when you find out that their 2 quarterbacks are missing.
Those 2 quarterbacks, Pepe and the Brock Lobster last year, they were a fucking train wreck. All right, this new kid is as good as either of those dudes.
We will find out as the season goes along. We have to see. But the guy that you said was a train wreck won the Super Bowl for them.
I know, but their defense won the game.
Agreed 100%.
Their defense, they've lost maybe one dude. I mean, the defense is still there.
Yeah, but the offense is in transition. And, you know, the thing is, in terms of popularity, Panthers are more popular than the Broncos. All the young kids, you know, the young jitterbugs, if I'm going to use today's slang, they love to dab or dab out or do the dab dance.
Yeah.
So, you know, these things, the only thing about it is how people bet. And I think young bettors would enjoy being a Panthers fan.
Well, those young bettors don't know that Cam Newton's a goddamn head case. He's going into Denver, going to be all fucked up.
You loved him last year, and you talked about him every day.
I know I did, but I realize now that that was a mistake, and that if you get plus 3 at home, you got to take that shit. I know it's the first game of the season. Shouldn't be so excited about this line, but you got to take plus 3 Broncos at home.
So you're already involved back in gambling.
Oh, there it is.
I just saw the line. It's too tasty, you know?
Too tasty.
No, we're not bringing it back. I can't. No.
I mean, it's plus 3. Not even the
It's not
points.
even how he used to do it. Second of all, I hate that sound so much. No, that's...
He used to do num, 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 num.
Why does he not know his whole thing?
Because he's a maniac. He is a fucking maniac.
I mean, I just like them both. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. You didn't know that he was out of his mind?
No,
totally
I thought
insane?
he was somewhat normal.
What's the date on Thursday?
Thursday is September 8th.
So Friday's the 9th, Saturday's the 10th, and then September 11th.
Oh, shit.
15 years. 9/11. Are they canceling the games?
No.
Out of respect for the military?
No, all games are on as per usual.
They didn't the week following pro football. They actually debated a little bit after 9/11 whether or not they should do it.
But they did do it, right?
Yeah.
Because that's patriotism today.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, if you believe the urban myth, it was Michael Strahan's idea not to do it, where he called the league and said, dude, I went down to check on it. We can't do a game. This is fucking worse than it looks on TV. That has to be pointed out to someone.
Wow.
Like, I know that you think just 2 towers filled the people fell, but it's worse.
It's worse than that. If you think it's not a big deal, it is. It doesn't feel like 15 years.
No. It feels
really-
like 14 or 13 years.
Yeah, at least.
I almost feel crazy that it's 15 years.
It feels very strange.
And Chris, I don't want you to do 15 beers for the 15 years.
Please don't.
That is embarrassing. Dutch, Connecticut.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, man.
Hey, Chris, I want to thank you so much for the first lock of the season. I'm happy taking the other side of your bet.
Whatever.
I feel good already the way the start goes. And let me know what else you think so I can take the opposite, picking up on how you did last year.
Take the Panthers at -3. Lose all your money. I don't care.
Dutch, I like your system. I think it's a phenomenal system.
Yeah, I feel pretty strongly about it. I think he should actually have his own 800 number out there putting out his picks. So, each week you say another winner.
I checked. They won't give him an 800 number. They said we'd have to take a 200 number. They said that what he is doing is against Homeland Security. Now, here's a little thing. See if you guys know this. They asked the SNL website, asked the peoples out there, the people's front, who they want to host Saturday Night Live this year. Who came in at number 1? Chris Stanley?
Kanye West.
Kanye West is Young and Restless.
Bill Murray?
Bill Murray. What's the hurry? Let's get Bill Murray and make this a Merry Christmas. Gail.
Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Baby boomer? I don't know. She's always in trouble with someone. All of you are wrong. It's a politician. Chris Stanley, who is it?
Oh, Donald Trump.
Not T-Rump.
Hillary Clinton?
No.
Bernie Sanders.
No. All wrong.
What?
It's Gary Johnson.
Oh.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Gary Johnson?
Mr. Excitement.
I wouldn't have expected.
Yeah. Johnson & Johnson, they call him. Men who brought baby powder to adults. Talk about a sale. Put some baby powder on it, but I'm not a baby. Doesn't matter.
Feels good for you, too.
You think they couldn't sell adult powder? It just sounds too gross.
Ew, what's it for?
Is it made out of adults? Then I don't want it.
It's a delightful product.
Well, it works. It's one of the few products that works.
I feel like Gary Johnson and his cronies hacked his way into winning that thing.
To winning what?
Winning that SNL thing.
Yeah, I'm sure his people got behind him. I don't think they hacked into it, but I think
they
they
hacked
said,
into the mainframe.
Yeah, I think they said, let's all, go and do this on our own. Yeah, I'm sure a group effort went there. Are you going to watch this Snowden movie?
Yeah, I watched the trailer again over the break. I was like, I can't wait to see this movie because I'm a moron.
When does it come out?
In a couple weeks.
All right.
I do want to see it.
Bigger American hero, Scully or Snowden? For Stanley. This is the battle of the giants.
Snowden. Snowden's a bigger American hero.
Give me the real human being, the real hero, Sully.
Vito, you're going to be tiebreaker.
I'm going to go Sully.
I'll tell you this.
Sully wins!
How? Because Snowden never landed a plane in a river.
Yeah. With 155 souls aboard.
Making sure each one of them got off free.
Real human being. If they don't play that song, that's fucked.
He's better than you, Sully. Tom Hanks said this is the first time he ever played anyone that he thinks is better than Tom Hanks. He goes, normally I have to fucking make myself a little less nice.
Let me see what he looks like in the movie. I want to see how they Sully him up.
You wouldn't know the difference. You would, even though we've known Tom Hanks now for almost 40 years, I felt like, and you are, sir, and you are, look at him. There's no difference.
God. It's Sully. Look at the mustache.
How are they going to turn this in 2 hours?
What are you talking about?
What?
Don't you realize what they did to him after they tried to sully his reputation by they acted like he wanted to crash the plane.
Yeah. They treated him like a piece of shit. I mean, did you say the same thing about the Titanic, Chris? How are they going to make that into a 3.5 hour?
That wasn't long enough, to be totally honest. I wanted that thing sinking in real time.
All right, the iPhone 7 has just announced, and it's official. See if you like this. No headphone jack.
Oh.
You'll have to use wireless headphones or a special adapter.
What?
It's also not only water resistant, but dust resistant. It will have an improved camera where you'll be able to capture 3D-like images and stereo speakers. Also, you'll be able to beam to different spaceships.
I just want to say before I comment on these features, the range of emotion that Chris went through, hated the headphone jack news, not that impressed with waterproof 3D pictures, suddenly piqued his interest. And this is radio, and you're not looking at him, and I literally watched him go through every emotion.
I decided not to look at him so I could finish reading this list without going, what the fuck are you doing, man? You trying to throw me off?
Look,
I've been with him to the movies, and he reacts to the announcements the same way about whether the kids can be crying or whatever. Huh?
Phones. Huh?
You don't even use Apple products.
I'm a straight Android boy. I've never owned an Apple product outside of an iPod.
And does your phone ring in this building?
No.
And yet all of ours do.
That's Sprint's problem, not Samsung's.
Right, but you're tied in with Sprint because of that, right?
No, you can get a Samsung phone on the Verizon.
Well, then why don't you get it, dude?
Once my contract's up, I'm fucking jumping ship.
Here's the thing. Water resistant, come back to me when it's waterproof.
Not just resistant.
Doesn't like it.
I believe that they also aren't even using Bluetooth on this, just a Bluetooth-like technology. So no headphone jack, and you can't hook up regular Bluetooth headphones to it.
Well, I don't have Bluetooth headphones, so I'll just go get my whatever they tell me to get.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get Apple phones, and I'll be happy with it. But, we were talking about water resistant the other day when we were on vacation. I was going somewhere and went to take a piss, and I had my phone in my top pocket. I just looked down to see it leaning, but I'm like, and I don't want to stop pissing. And nature has forced me to be a two-hand gripper, so there was no way out of it.
That's especially difficult because it's upsetting enough to watch your cell phone drop into water, but into your own urine, I mean, that's just cruel.
Hey, by the way, can you believe this? They just announced it, right? And this is what everybody is excited about online. And the Apple CEO announced this all with a video of while he was doing carpool karaoke with Corden and Pharrell. And
You're gonna get the
Apple world is going crazy about it.
Of course they are.
Like, we got James Corden and karaoke or karaoke.
Steve Jobs would never have done that.
Steve Jobs was the original showman, my friend.
I'm Mr. Apple product. I buy everything that company puts out at me, but they're fucking us over with this phone. Because next year's the 10-year anniversary, so this one's just kind of a basic-ass update, and I'm fucking waiting on it. And
Wait, what's going to happen next year? What could they possibly do with a phone that they haven't?
Next year is the big... So, usually they go S, and then new phone, redesign, and everything's crazy different. This year's kind of just they're minorly upgrading everything, because for the 10-year anniversary, they want to go so big.
But what? What are we going to get? What's the mind-blowing thing that's left?
I don't know, but they got me waiting a year. They fucked up by telling me that, because I would have bought this phone.
It's not going to be that nice.
You're not even making sense to us. I'm saying, aren't we at the peak of what a phone can do now? Everything is just going to be tweaks from this point on.
Look, the iPhone 4 came out, and I thought the same thing. And then the iPhone 5 came out.
Okay, I want you to now say that you're here in 2016 like the rest of us. What could this little rectangle do that it doesn't do already?
Projection keyboard. I know that's a big thing they're going
I don't
for.
think we want it. Do we? Do you want to project a keyboard?
That sounds like it sucks.
I think I would like it.
All right, we got one in. One
Where does it project on?
On your belly.
My body? Because then yes.
Yeah.
Anywhere you want it.
What else? What else?
It pleases
I mean,
me.
what do we need?
Waterproof, as Gail said before.
It won't be that big of a difference. That's a tweak. That isn't a major change.
Maybe.
See, there's nothing left.
VR.
There is a yeah, we already have it. We can put on the thing you VR through here. But here's the deal. There's a million apps that you can have now. I don't have any of them. I have Uber, and that's it. That's plenty for me. I don't need all these things. 10 years ago, it all seemed exciting that you could walk around with a phone and hear we've got everything we need. We're done inventing stuff for the phone.
Thinner?
Thinner is a tweak. It's not a major leap ahead. What the fuck? Do you guys even remember when the iPod came out? How crazy? Like, everyone you knew wanted to talk, phone, like how many songs you have. My friends would be like, I have 5,200 songs. I'm like, well, that's more songs than you need.
I think the biggest upgrade that can happen is getting Siri or some sort of AI at a better level.
You mean an AI that could actually have a conversation?
Yeah, that you could actually communicate with and can set reminders. Like right now, it's a basic idea what Siri's capable of doing, which is just like a hands-free thing.
Yeah. But see, the way that, and this was probably in the 80s, Steve Jobs was explaining what a Siri type thing would be able to do. And he said, and at that time we didn't even think, we thought the computer was just sitting in your house. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't be carrying it around like a phone. And he said that your computer will be like a friend that you can talk to and will point out things that you've done in the past that you need to. So you'd be able to say, good news, I've got this meeting, and then your phone would be able to say, Ron, you know how Don is. He always says that he'll have a meeting and he's looking, but remember this time of it, and then he'll help you think instead of, or, dude, you say that you don't like this girl, but remember your last 3 girlfriends, you got annoyed with them at this exact same point. Is there something with you that you're doing? And that sounded fascinating to me. That the thing would be there to support, to just give you information about your own personal life that you didn't know existed. I don't think I'm going to live to see that, though. Because Siri, if I ask Siri anything, it just gives me a Google search.
Yeah, that's all.
And I'll say, Siri, play Sway by the Rolling Stones. And then I'm sitting there and I just here is the top 10 searches for Rolling Stones. Like, what the fuck? I could have just done that. You're an idiot, Siri. Siri, you're a moron.
Hey, I don't think I deserve that.
You do because you suck at stuff.
After all I've done for you.
You haven't done jack fuck for me, bitch.
Your language.
At least I have language.
I'm not sure I understand.
Exactly.
Seems like I cut you off. Can you please repeat that?
Fuck no.
Well, I never.
And you won't.
Okay.
Then it's over.
I'm not sure I understand.
I don't love you anymore, Siri.
Who am I to say otherwise?
Exactly, bitch.
I'll pretend I didn't hear that.
This is how I spend most of my time waiting to come back to you guys. Just in big fights with Siri. But wouldn't it be great if there was that thing? Or
Yeah,
is that
I would like it.
dehumanizing?
No, I think I would like a little friend to discuss those things with. Everyone would have their own. It'd be like a best friend, a one-sided best friend who just gives.
Who just gives.
Who just gives and gives.
Red. You're on the air,
Hey,
Red.
howdy, guys.
Hey, buddy.
So, I got a fabulous idea for the new iPhone when it comes out for the 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
How about a pistol, like a gun involved with it somehow?
Well, it'd be great, isn't everybody could yell, get down, she's got a phone. And anyone who tries to talk on their phone could be shot by the police.
That's pretty good.
It's our good friend Pit Doc. Pit Doc.
Ronnie, I'm sorry I've been out all day with patients, but I was just wondering if you got the items for Chris. I thought you were on Thursday. I got some stuff for you when I was in New York last week.
No, I didn't get anything from Chris. Chris, what do you have?
I got you a case of Clark bars.
Clark bars?
This is Buck's Clark bars.
We should be eating a Clark bar right now.
Do we have any other stuff up there?
And I got Gail some body wash.
Yay!
I hate bar soap.
I got Chris 20 bars of every spring.
Hey!
And I got some chocolate away for him working out. So
Yay! Pit Doc, 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 Pit Doc. All right, we gotta go. Thanks, Pit Doc.
Thanks, Pit Doc.
Bye.
Oh, God. When we get that weird, it means it's the end of the show.
Who was that on the phone?
I think it was Pit Doc.
Oh?
Siri, who is Pit Doc?
Okay, here's what I found on the web for who is Pet Doc.
All right, so you just said how to care for a pet duck, my pet ducks, Or do ducks make good pets?
See? Now there's an update needed.
We make good pets.
Okay, check it out.
Oh, God, you're a dumb fuck, Siri. You are a dumb bitch.
I'm just trying to help you.
I don't need your fucking help, Siri.
You don't?
I'll break you. Oh.
She just eyes too hard.
That is actually a little scary. All right, let's get out of here. Chris, nothing to plug, right?
Mm-mm.
We're back in here tomorrow on Thursday, but if we don't see you then we'll see everybody again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!